Good evening. I would like to call to order the Kaiser City Council in regular session. It is Monday, August 18th, 2025, and ask our city recorder to please call roll.
Councilor Parsons?
Here.
Councilor Kohler?
Here.
Councilor Cross?
Here.
Mayor Clark?
Here.
Council President Starr?
Here.
Councilor Christopher? Here. Councilor Duran?
Here.
Thank you very much. If you are able, I invite you to rise and all join us in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right. Ms. Bissett, do you have the video or the presentation from St. Francis School queued up?
Yes, Mayor.
Okay, so we don't have anything under special orders of business, so we're going to go to committee reports, and I just wanted to give you a heads up that when we get to public comment, that will be the first one up, okay? All right, thank you very much. Under committee reports, item 5A is the designation of League of Oregon Cities voting delegate. Under our council rules, appointments such as these are by vote of the council, and we will need someone who is attending the League of Oregon Cities conference who will be present the morning of October, whatever it is. The Saturday morning when they have the annual meeting for the League of Oregon Cities to be present to pick up the voting card and to vote on our behalf. It's October 4th. So I am willing to do it. I will be present and I'll put my name in. Is there anyone else who would like to be considered for our voting delegate for the League of Oregon Cities? I'm sorry?
I'll be there, but whatever works best for the council.
Okay.
Would you be willing to do it?
Yeah.
No. So both of us will be there. It's a matter of picking up the card and voting on the rather short agenda they have for the League of Oregon Cities.
What is it? What are they voting on?
They will probably have a couple of bylaws, minor updates, and then the slate of officers for the board for the upcoming year. Councilor Christopher.
So I would move to let Council President Shaney Starr represent the City Council as the delegate.
Second.
Moved and seconded to have Council President Shaney Starr represent the city and be the voting delegate for League of Oregon Cities. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, we'll send that in to the League of Oregon Cities, and I would ask that the council allow for an alternate. Life
Sure.
may happen. And if Council President Starr needs an alternate, since I will be there, I'm willing to be the alternate.
You've never done it, right, Shaney? And you've done it a lot of times.
Probably several times over the last 10 years.
So it's
Generally, it
just
was the mayor or whoever was, or council president.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Great.
So, any objection to me serving as alternate?
No.
Seeing no objection, Ms. Bissett, would you please notify the League of Oregon Cities that Council President Starr will be our voting delegate and I will be the alternate?
Yes, Mayor.
All right, thank you very much. Also, under committee reports, my appointee to the Community Diversity Engagement Committee, Jane Tichenal, has resigned from the Community Diversity Engagement Committee for personal reasons. So I will be appointing Tammy Kunz to fill the vacancy. Okay, want to get that moving forward. Anything else under, well, I do have some committee reports, people signed up. So speaking of the Community Diversity Engagement Committee, Elaine Wilson, come on down.
Good evening. It's on. Good evening, Mayor Clark, city councilors and staff. My name is Lane Wilson. I am part of the Kaiser Community Diversity Engagement Committee, and I'm here tonight to give a brief summary of our last meeting that took place on August 7th. One of the things that we continue to discuss is collaborating with other organizations in order to continue the outreach with other communities. Another item we discussed is also to host a CDC meeting off-site. So far, our top pick has been the RAC. Nothing has been decided. Our goal is to have something picked out by January and host that meeting by July 2026. We are still brainstorming a couple places, but so far the rec's been our choice. Another thing we continue to do, actually on the meeting of October, we have invited the chair for the volunteer coordinating committee, Jane Herb, to participate on our CDC meeting to better understand how the application for volunteers work, so we can identify potential barriers and opportunities, engage with the community, inviting them to participate on the committees that the city of Kaiser has. We also discuss potentially creating a training video to be posted on the City of Kaiser social media and how people can apply for those positions. Something short and sweet that can be posted on Instagram and all our portals, so people can invite people to participate and to apply for any open positions we have. I believe it's in our packet as well, 2 postcards created by the CDC. One of them is to be passed out when we're hosting events, inviting people to potentially join the CDC, as well as another postcard inviting people to participate in the committees we have. So if we're hoping to be participating or have a table in some of the events in the city and be there chatting with people and inviting them to take part. Those postcards are going to be in English and Spanish. They're also going to have a QR code where somebody can scan it and go directly to our website where they can see all the committees, what you need to do to apply, and so on.
Press pause for just a second. I think there's a question about the postcards. You said they're in the packet, they're in the CDEC packet, is that correct? Or
I believe it's in your packet or is being presented to the council for approval.
Okay, so it hasn't come to us yet?
Okay.
Okay,
Okay, I believe I'm supposed to. I will check on that.
thank you.
So those 2 postcards. Another thing too, that it may or may not be in our package today, but there was intention, is we have a proclamation guidance. And the goal of that guidance, the guideline actually, is so there's better understanding what the proclamation is for, the intent of what we're trying to accomplish with it. So it's a better understanding for the speaker that we pick, as well as to the city councilor, what are expected, what are goals, what are trying to achieve with the proclamation. If that's not in our packet today, we're gonna double check, but I'd like to present to the council to be approved. So next time we have a speaker, we understand better expectations from both parties when those take place. And unfortunately, Mrs. Techno stepped down. It's a loss for our committee. She was great. We'll see what's next. We know who's gonna join us. We're excited to have her. And I think that's just basically what we did in our last meeting. Do you have any questions?
Thank you very much. So on these 2 recommendations, then these are ones that will be forwarded to council for a discussion and approval. I'm getting a head nod from Mr. Wood at our following meeting on September 2nd. Is that correct?
That is correct, Madam Mayor.
Okay, thank you. So we will see them then.
Appreciate it. Thank
Any other
you.
questions for Ms. Wilson?
Great job.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Tammy Kunz, for the Greater Northeast Kaiser Neighborhood Association, reporting on National Night Out.
Tammy Kunz, Greater Northeast Kaiser Neighborhood Association.
And Don Davis, Southeast Neighborhood, Kaiser Neighborhood Association. It's a mouthful sometimes. I'm not quite used to
All right.
representing them.
Okay, so we hosted at the Elks this year in a partnership with Southeast Kaiser, and we had about 557 people participate, which was amazing. 12 booths, right?
Yes.
We gave out resource kits with distracted driving in English and Spanish, Center for Hope and Safety, Early Learning Hub 988, mental health awareness information, slap bracelets, fidgets, and a whole bunch of other stuff, along with safe routes to school and bike safety information. Anything you want to add?
Oh, some of the booths that we had games for the kids. The rec had given a mini bowling, for example. We had dominoes and cornhole and a lot of free giveaways from the different booths, ranging from the senior center, the Kaiser Salem Senior Center, the Marine Board, and like I
Trident
said-
gave away 2 bikes.
Yep,
And
exactly.
then we collected a bunch of raffles and gave 37 items away, including a free month to the karate studio. We gave 3 of those away and 2 3-month for the karate studio.
Yeah, it ran from 6 to 8 o'clock. We also had the Kaiser, the fire department and police department. And overall, it was a successful event. Being able to hold it at the Elks Club was a great thing because it just, the exposure and then their support was really good. And we thought we had a meeting to kind of go over, see how did we do, what could we do differently and things. And the bottom line was we will do it again with them and they want to support it. So it was a success.
Awesome. I really appreciated some of the written information that you sent with ideas to even make it better next year and some really great ideas for outreach and communication. So I really appreciate the thoughtfulness. Questions for our esteemed colleagues from the neighborhood associations? Very well done, and a huge thank you to the Elks.
Yes, thank you to the Elks.
Yep.
Andy,
Absolutely.
we could not have done it without her. She was amazing.
Yeah.
Thank you, Marlene, for all the support you provided. It was awesome.
Counselor Kohler?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. As I was able to visit several of the different neighborhood groups that were out, and I was impressed with the number of them that there were that I was able to visit. The timing was a little off. Some of them I had to visit a couple times because nobody was there the first time, or as when I got there the second time, there were just a couple of folks. But it was great to see people getting out and meeting their neighbors and working together as a neighborhood.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much, and thank you for letting us know how well that worked for your 2 neighborhoods. Thank you.
Thank you.
I also would like to share our Fun Friday for Kennedy and Cummings. We served 650 participants, 47 community partners, and a total of 150-plus families for the Cummings Neighborhood Family Council and Kennedy Neighborhood Family Council. So it was awesome.
That was a lot of fun. Thank you to St. Edwards for hosting, and Lieutenant Hyen, good job on the grill with Ron Berkeley.
Yep, good job.
You guys kept the good food coming. It was a lot of fun. And that shade and the shade trees were wonderful, and I understand Chief Copeland was pretty competitive on cornhole.
Yes.
So that was a great one. And then the neighborhood family councils will be having some fall kickoffs, so you'll be letting us know what those are like for Kennedy and for Cummings, okay?
Yep.
All right, fantastic. Anything else on the neighborhood family councils? All right, thank you so much. Okay, that is everybody I have signed up for committee reports. Is there anyone here for a committee report that I missed? Pardon? Clay, are you here for parks? Okay. All right,
Hello?
now is the time.
Thank you. Thank you, Mayor Clark. Reporting on Kaiser Parks Board meeting we had on August 12th. 4 main points. We have our Parks Tour coming up on, let's see, that is scheduled for September 8th. We're going to be visiting Wallace House, Bob Newton, and of course Kaiser Rapids. Second point we brought up were the e-bikes and the speed limits in the parks. So
Thank you.
that was addressed. Third was Ryan J. Hill Gold Star Memorial. Chairman Lawyer was able to secure with some help from Home Depot quite a substantial donation that's going to help push that thing through. And the fourth thing that we had were turf fields. We're in phase 2. Currently, I believe utilities are in, and hoping that, get that thing pushed along. So,
All right.
any questions about the pickleball courts? I'm sorry.
Counselor Christopher,
What day did you say is the Parks tour? The night?
Parks Tour, we have down
it's
as,
September 8th.
I will tell you here in just a minute. Monday, September 8th is what I have.
Starting at 6 PM, down at, and where are we starting?
Kaiser Rapids, I
We'll
believe.
start at Kaiser Rapids Park. So that's our work session night.
Yeah.
So we are going to swap that in and we will get underway. So anybody is welcome to join us down at Kaiser Rapids Park. Do we know where at the park? It's kind of big.
Probably pickleball.
I would say there are some benches there, that would make sense.
So either at the pickleball or by the amphitheater, there's picnic
Yep.
tables there that we can convene and then talk from there. So Ms. Bissett will let us know where our meeting place is. Okay, I'm getting a yes on that. So we'll start from there and then we'll go to Wallace and finish up at Newton. Is that the plan?
Correct.
Okay. So anybody who wants to jump in along the way, that's going to be the order of things. Kaiser Rapids Park, Wallace House Park, and Bob Newton Family Park on September 8th. Okay,
Great.
perfect.
That's all I had.
Any other questions on the Parks report? Counselor Kohler?
Clay, do we have enough pickleball courts?
Probably not. We're probably, the need is substantial, so
Has there been any discussion on that you're aware of?
nothing official, but yes, it'd be nice to adapt the current parking lot into 6 more courts and push the parking lot a little bit more north. But that's, down the road.
Sounds like a grant.
Got other ideas, yes. It's a-
Well, and also, I believe Bob Newton Family Park, I'm going to look at Mr. Lawyer, that the sports court will be striped for pickleball. Is that correct? So we'll be getting how many more courts there? It'll be 2 courts, 2 pickleball court capacity at Bob Newton Family Park. So it's an increase. It's a 33% increase.
Yeah.
So we'll take it. All right, anything further? All right, thank you so
Great.
much.
Thank you.
Any other committee reports? Okay. We will now go to public comment. This time is provided for citizens to address the council on any matters other than those on the agenda scheduled for public hearing. We have no public hearings this evening. Before we go to people who have signed up to speak, I want to acknowledge for the record, written comment that has been submitted in the last couple of weeks. We have John Miranda, resident of Kaiser, opposition to Raising Cane Chicken, concern about additional traffic on McLeod Lane Northeast and congestion at the intersection of McLeod Lock Haven. Jonathan Thompson, resident of Kaiser, opposition to Chariot's plan to add a new payroll tax. Alan Pollock, he is the executive director of Chariot's, request to defer action on agenda item 8C in order to provide Chariot's representatives the opportunity to present the funding proposal and service plan prior to taking a position. Jerry Jones, no city identified, opposition to Chariot's payroll tax. Patrick Carney, no city identified, opposition to Chariot's payroll tax. Those will be entered into the record under written comment. What I want to do is, as I said at the top, Beth Schmidt is here from Safe Routes to School, and we do have, she has a few short slides to share with us about that program as we get ready to launch in the new year, and our students will be walking and biking to school. Thank you so much for joining us, and I'm looking forward to that chicken suit, once again, to help our students cross the road.
Good evening, Mayor Clark, councilors, and staff. I appreciate your having me this evening. I just want to begin with one really important thing to talk about our partnership. This has been a really special year, and I wanted to present this in a way to really highlight everyone here in Kaiser that has made Safe Routes to School so successful. Mayor Clark, City Manager Adam Brown, Bill Lawyer, your public works staff. I mean, let's just give them a huge round of applause. I I thought I was going to lose bicycle safety education, and I didn't have anyone to transport or store the trailers with the bikes in them. And so fortunately, Adam Brown and Keith Staley came to my savior and they signed up. Each city took a trailer and they transported those bike trailers, and your public works were amazing. And they learned that what was inside these trailers and what were we doing, and they just, they were kind of, at first I think that they were just wondering why they had to go move all this around. And most of them were in Salem. So, I calculated all these transports and everything, and we had about 17 transports, per each city. So to talk about the impact that we've made, it's a really big deal, and I'm really grateful for everybody who helped me out, Greg and Art and Brian, and definitely everyone who was so useful in that, and I appreciate it. So here's our little wrap-up and review. And let's hope I can scroll through this. Safe routes to school. Here we are. We did a little pedestrian safety education. That and that picture right there is at Clear Lake Elementary with the PE teacher, Buffy Rhines, who is amazing. And she checked out a pedestrian safety kit, and she worked with the younger grades to do pedestrian safety. So we really worked at, integrating pedestrian safety into PE as much as we could. Bicycle safety education was a huge, huge deal. We started with 3 schools initially. We did 6 schools for 3rd through 5th grade, and we piloted the kindergarten through 2nd learn to ride at 2 schools. This next year, I hope to just be able to do that. But anyway, we calculated how many students we had outreach to, and I would talk about the voucher program, but that's going to take too much time, and I have a countdown I'm trying to be aware of. Here's some of my partners here. You'll see a picture of us moving those trailers around. I'm proud of my partnerships with Salem Kaiser Public Schools, Salem Fire and Police, Kaiser PD, because they came and they walked to school with us too, and we're really happy for that partnership and that enforcement. Cycle Oregon, Salem Bicycle Club, Public Works, and the Northwest Hub. We did public transit safety education. We worked with Cummings Elementary, and that was really fun. This year, the principal got to ride the bus, and they took the students for a ride, which was really exciting. Neither principal at either of the schools I was on had even been on a Chariots bus before. So how exciting is it that the actual principal got to go for a ride? So the Chariots bus came, and we educate the students on how to use public transit, just basic skills and the exposure of how. It's a really big deal when it comes down to it, when we're teaching students how to be multimodal. And I look forward to hopefully having this again with more schools in Salem and Kaiser this next year. Here's just some, I don't want to read all those, but anyway, we've done a lot of community engagement to really grow the program. We are excited every time we're invited to something that we could come take part in and educate families or students. So here's just some events that we did. We had a really busy school year, and hopefully we will be able to replicate that. Another big deal was our walk and roll events. Yes, we had 15 walks. Each year is a little bit more and a little bit more. You're just trying to add a little bit on each time. So I was really excited for the kids at Cummings who got to walk to school in the snow. That was a big deal. And I had more schools in Kaiser this year do Ruby Bridges Walk to School Day. So each year it keeps growing, and I think people are growing more confident and understanding what the program really does. Yes, I did wear this unicorn and chicken costume. And anyway, and fortunately, I had the mayor escort me across the street back and forth, and we kept Whitaker Middle School students safe. And I wore the unicorn with Counselor Starr, and she came with me. She braved it, and I appreciate that. We might have picked the wrong intersection at first, but that's okay. We figured it out, and it looks like that intersection over there. Is it Pleasant? What is it? Pleasant? That intersection we went to by Weddell was Pleasant something. I can't remember the intersection.
Pleasant View.
Thank you, Pleasant View. It needs sidewalks. It needs some more things. So we'd be happy to do that. This was just a little funny thing that I decided to do. If somebody's curious about it, I'd love to share. But it's really about educating people about how to be safe, but really to slow down drivers so that if they see me or someone in a big blow-up costume, silly as that is, hopefully they would see our students and they would slow down and they would let them cross the street. It was just in an effort to really be so overt that people slowed down to see our students at the very minimum. Some of our recognitions this year, we were awarded the Chair's Choice Award by the Mid-Willamette Valley Council of Governments. Ian Davidson was our board president, and you also, as the city of Kaiser and one of my partners, won as well. So congratulations to you all. We were also awarded a Spotlight on Success with the Salem Kaiser School District. That was also, humbling. I'm very proud of the progress that we've done. Senate Bill 450 passed with bipartisan support this year in the legislature. We are now the third state in the United States of America to fully recognize Ruby Bridges Walk to School Day on November 14th. So all of the state of Oregon this year will recognize Ruby Bridges as Ruby Bridges Walk to School Day. I'm very proud of that. I'm most proud and honored of the bipartisan support that I received and that this bill received in the legislature. The last thing, it says 12 seconds. I don't know how I did that. I would love it if we could continue with the participation and engagement. The one thing I'm going to be really hopeful for is to continue to advocate for enforcement in school zones, and also if there is a way to support our data collection initiative. I love the words. Simply, I would really like everyone to be aware when a student is hit by a car on their way to or from school. It is the most important thing that we should know and we should be proactive about, and we can do that together. So collecting the data so that, I know what's happening with you guys and you tell me, but I can also work with the school district and we can work with the infrastructure or traffic engineers or people so we know what's happening and we can all be proactive as best we can. And then the last little part of that is I would really like to invite more parents and, people in the community to support Safe Routes and walk or roll to school with us. And if you have any questions, obviously.
All right. Thank you very much, and thank you for this wonderful information. Questions that any of you may have for Ms. Schmidt? So I do have one. I understand that Ruby Bridges herself has heard about the program here. Do you want to tell a little bit about that? That was pretty exciting.
I would love to, and I should add that on. The superintendent Castaneda, and the school board chair, Cynthia Richardson, and I have invited Ruby Bridges to walk to school with us this year, as it is a big deal that we have passed the law. So I worked with her foundation to let them know we were working on this bill. And it was really exciting for me when they called me, the foundation called me, and then they said, Ruby was really honored and excited, and she saw what we were doing in Salem and Kaiser, and to me, I was just amazed that Ruby Bridges knew who I was, or that we were doing this stuff in Salem and Kaiser. But that was the most exciting part. I think that Ruby Bridges, she sees what we're doing here in Oregon. She sees how many students are involved, because each year we have grown with our walks, and more students have been walking and had the opportunity to learn about her and, really what her mission is. It's quite beautiful in the way that she talks about anti-racism, anti-bullying, and it be a day of dialogue. So it's a really beautiful time for our students to really embrace her and everything that's happening, But Ruby Bridges knows who we are in Oregon, you guys. I'm excited about that.
It just really speaks to when we think people aren't watching, that they are, and what we're doing matters. So that's why I wanted to call that out. Any other questions for Ms. Schmidt? Appreciate also the helmets. If people want to donate helmets, talk to our Traffic Safety Bike Ped Committee. They work with you on getting helmets fitted for students and how else they can volunteer. And what's your email?
bschmidt@mwvcog.org. Anyway, that's a lot of, are you sure you wanted all
So
that?
get a hold of the Council of Governments and they'll get in touch with you. Thank
Yeah.
you so much.
I don't have a lot of helmets, remember, I have to get more money to get helmets, but I would happily work with them to get more helmets because I saw a lot of kids who need more helmets, so, thank you.
We have a way.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Did you have something to add, Lieutenant? Okay, thank you. It is now my pleasure to invite up Kylie Jarnigan, and the distinguished young women. We have some of the young little sisters. And to talk to us about the Distinguished Young Women Program.
Right. We're going to be doing surgery today.
Thank you so much. I am so excited to introduce the class of 2026 for Distinguished Young Women of Kaiser. Hello, everyone. I am Kylie Jarnigan. I am currently the production chair for our local program. So for those who do not know, Distinguished Young Women is a scholarship program founded on scholastics and interview. And Kaiser is one of the longest running programs in Oregon with over 50 programs. So it's amazing with what these women are doing. So I don't want to talk for too long, so I want to introduce these fabulous women that just competed this past May, was it? Yes, in May. So I want to let them share their story. So we'll start with Megan.
Hello, my name is Megan Curran. As Kylie said, I was a representative for the class of 2026 Distinguished Young Women's. I was also awarded the Scholastic Scholarship through this program, and with that scholarship that I was awarded, I will be pursuing my further education at Southern Oregon University. Hi, my name is Emma Lindstrom. I was also part of the DYW class for 2026, and I was awarded the Self-Expression Award. And with that, I plan to pursue my degree in clinical psychology. Hello, my name is Hallie Wofford, and I am honored to announce that I am your Distinguished Young Woman of Kaiser for the class of 2026. I was the recipient of the Talent Award, the Fitness Award, the Interview Award, and the Spirit Award at our local program this May. I just got back from the state program this year, and I do have to say that week was one of the best experiences of my life. I got to participate in this wonderful program with 14 other wonderful young women from across the state who all have the same values and interests. And we had a wonderful time sharing the stage 2 weeks ago on Saturday night, participating in all the different categories that we are judged on. Over the next year, I am happy to announce that I am looking for new opportunities to be involved in the community and to help make Kaiser a better place. I also am very happy to say that I am going to help rebuild the Kaiser program and gain more interest so we have girls to participate in next year's program.
Wonderful. Congratulations all.
Thank you so much for letting them speak just a little bit about their story. The Kaiser program is such a wonderful opportunity as someone who has competed in it, and it helps these women further their education. So if you are ever interested in helping out this program, unfortunately with COVID, we hit kind of a low, but we are back and we are trying to make the Kaiser program bigger and better than ever. So if you are interested, please let me know. You can visit the Distinguished Young Women of Kaiser website, Instagram, or if you find me, let me know. But thank you so much for letting us spotlight them. And if we could, I'd love to give them a round of applause. They're just
Absolutely.
amazing. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you and congratulations to all of you, and thank you for representing Kaiser. We are so proud of you and for you being able to be our banner carrier into the state competition and how you plan to invest in the young women coming after you. That's true leadership. Any questions for these very distinguished young women? Okay, we don't have any tonight, but we will be watching for announcements in our social media, how we can support you. Congratulations once again. Kaiser's distinguished young women. So now under public comment, I've got two groups that want to speak. One are specific to item 9C, which is the Chariots payroll tax question. And then I have about a dozen people from Lydia Avenue who want to talk about the stormwater swales and so forth. It's not on the agenda tonight, but it looks like we have a great deal of interest in having a conversation about this. And so what I would like to do is suggest that we do this one at a time. I would like to add into our agenda to set aside a little bit of time here about the Lydia Avenue to give the people a chance to talk, and a couple of minutes for Mr. Lawyer to explain to us the situation on Lydia Avenue. And we have a city councilor who also, Councilor Parsons, who also lives on that street and can help us with that. This would be a slight change to the agenda and to the rules on the time limits. Is that everybody okay with taking Lydia Avenue, and then we will come to the Chariots one again as a group? Any objection?
How many folks are here for, the Chariots?
I've got 3 for Chariots, and I have, I think people signed up. We will, if everybody wants to speak, they can, but we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10,
Yeah,
11.
let's flip it, Mayor.
You want to do the Chariots people? The other thing is, I was thinking we could have them speak right before that agenda item, so we hear the information all at the same time. So that's another option.
I would do it now. We've only got 3.
Counselor Cross.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Couldn't we also just move that item? I mean, we have 3 people here by wasting
Great
an
idea.
item. Or move 9C to the
Right.
top of the agenda.
So what we could do is take this, move 9C up, and have folks talk at that point.
Yeah, let's do that.
Okay. And the objection to reordering, under public comment, we will now have a conversation around Lydia Avenue. And then we will go, because we have no public hearings, we'll switch around the agenda to go to 9C after that. Does that sound good to everybody? Counselor
that's
Cross?
good.
Yeah, no, I thought when I was saying that, thank you, Madam Mayor, that we would tackle the Chariots first. You want to tackle Lydia first?
Yeah, during public comment, and then we'll
Right.
take 9.
And then we'll
That would be
reorder
good.
administrative action because we don't have information except what's just been provided on this. And then we have you'll have to introduce 9C.
Okay.
Okay, so is that clear as mud? Okay, I'm looking at Ms. Bissett. So, folks here from Lydia Avenue, what I would like to do, I have a lot of you signed up. It was the intention that all of you speak, or do you have a couple of people who you would like to talk to us about the issues that you're having? So I will give everybody a chance, if they want to speak, but if you've got a couple of people that can really articulate it for you, and then we have, I will pass this out.
I think we got one.
Oh, we all got the set, okay, of pictures from Lydia Avenue bridges, and then we'll go to Mr. Lawyer. Do you have this information as well? Okay, would you pass this down to Mr. Lawyer? Okay. Okay, so who from the Lydia Avenue would like to lead off? Come on down, if you could just give me your name, and clearly, we already know your city of residence, and then we will go from there, okay? Does that sound good?
Yeah.
I want to make sure everybody gets a chance.
Hello there,
Hello.
Mayor Clark and councilors and staff. My name's Steve McCarthy, and I live actually in the middle part of Lydia Avenue. And I have 3 areas that I'd like to cover. One is about the hazards and risks. Another is about the design and the maintenance. And the third area are possible solutions. Because I hate to complain and not have some solutions at least. Whether or not they're viable, that's to be determined. Anyway, about the hazards and risks. There is a risk of injury and falling into the swales. I don't know if you've seen the swales personally, but the swales are about 18 to 24 inches deep. But they're obscured by the bushes and vegetation. So if people are stepping out of their cars at the curb, and we've had this happen, actually many times, you suddenly go down very quickly and you are into the swales and bushes. We've had a relative, as a matter of fact, she went down into the swales. She stepped out of the car on the curb. She put a tooth through her lip and damaged her knee. I think the only reason we weren't sued is because she was a relative. So we were thankful for that. And then from a maintenance and design perspective, I don't believe the bioswales were actually designed properly or were created properly. If you look at the EPA rules on some of this stuff, I think you will probably find that the swales, when they were initially put in, they did not have grass or any ground cover on the slopes of the swales. So you have exposed dirt. And guess what happens when you get a lot of water through exposed dirt? Washes it down. It makes the sides a little more straight, and it makes it a lot more treacherous. So I think that's one of the issues that goes on there. The dirt, if you take a look at it, it's eroding underneath the sidewalk, and it's also eroding underneath the curbs. So that needs to be fixed pretty soon, or else we're going to have some pretty big issues, I think. We're going to start getting cracks. So that's one of the other areas. Also, the bushes. If you did take a look at that, and you probably have some of the pictures over there, the bushes tend to get a little high. I just measured one in front of my house. It's 55 inches tall in the swale. You can lose a kid in there. I mean, yeah, and as a matter of fact, we have grandkids, and one of them loves to ride his bike and, you know, accidentally goes into the swale, and, oh, there goes justice. So that's another area. I don't think those bushes are actually good for that particular area. So solutions, possible solutions. And we did have some folks who built bridges across the swales, so people could step out of their cars, go onto these little bridges and everything as one way of mitigating the risk. I think the other area is in the vegetation. I think the bushes should be replaced. It's, like I said, they just grow and they obscure how deep the swales really are. So that might be a way to do that and provide better visibility by getting rid of those bushes. And the other thing I think that needs to be done is to plant grasses and ground cover on the slopes of the swales themselves to keep the soil from eroding. But you have to first fix the area underneath the sidewalks, you know, put something up there to keep the soil from eroding, keep the sidewalks stable. So shore up the sidewalks on the curbs. So, questions?
All right, thank you very much.
Okay, that's it.
All right. Any questions, or shall we hear from a couple more? Then I'm giving Mr. Lawyer time to absorb all this, and then we'll come to you for some comments. Would that be okay? Okay.
Super.
Is there someone
Thank you.
who would like to add? Okay, come on down. Oh, who's next? I've got a rock, paper, scissors going out there. Okay, we have the Sangsters and then,
And then Howard.
oh, and then, sorry?
Howard.
Howard? Okay. And then Bob? Okay. Okay.
Madam Mayor, councilors, staff, we're Hirsch and Mary Ann Sangster. We live at 5158 Lacey Street North, and we have the same swales as Lydia, which is just a few blocks away. We have exactly the same problems as described.
When we first moved into our house in 2017, we noticed these openings right by the sidewalks, and we talked to the people about it. And they said, those are the swales, and you don't need to worry about them because they'll be taken care of. And so we noticed that pretty soon, apparently they weren't being taken care of. Weeds were taking over, and the dirt was eroding. And so the holes were getting deeper and deeper, and like the Lydia people were saying, very dangerous to step out there. And if you attempt to cross a swale, you definitely take your life in your hands. And when you look at it, the dirt has eroded under the sidewalk, so you can look way back and see where the cement is getting quite thin because so much has been eroded away. It definitely doesn't look safe or a nice place to be standing near. So anyway, that's about all I have to say.
The Northwest Kaiser Neighborhood Association has had meetings in the last year or two on the issue. Public Works has been there, as well as some people from the environmental section. And as far as the maintenance of the plants, great improvement since when we first, it's been a great improvement with.
It's been awesome.
But the erosion and stuff, it's way down. It doesn't look good at all from that standpoint. And looking at the sidewalk, it's going to break away, and the homeowners are responsible then. So we're trying to, we've already waved our hand from our standpoint, and same with Lydia.
All right. Awesome, and thank you. And then, did you want to come on up? And this is Howard Robertson? Is that correct? Okay.
Good evening, Mayor, City Council, gentlemen. Thank you for giving me a few minutes here to speak. My name is Howard Robertson. I reside at 1332 Lydia Avenue North in Kaiser. I'm here tonight speaking on behalf of my friends and neighbors on Lydia. Several weeks ago, our block was informed that there were 19 violations, I believe it was, to codes, including the 4 of us who had built bridges over the stormwater vegetated swales to bridge the gap between the sidewalk and the street curb. The reason we built these was simply to allow our family and friends to have a safe exit out of the passenger doors of their vehicles when parking on the street. A little bit about the bridges. I supplied you with some pictures of the bridges. They were built with the EPA recommended materials, including treated lumber and Trex decking. The frames are built with 2x4s and the posts are 4x4s. The posts were placed in holes filled with pea gravel and no concrete was used. The bridges are level with both the sidewalk and the curb. Of the 4 bridges built, 2 were built without disturbing even one plant. The other 2 were built by transplanting but not removing one bush of vegetation in each swale. We had a small community meeting to discuss this and decided it was best to meet with city leaders and see if there was any way that the bridges could stay after we explained our safety concerns. I met with 5 of the city's employees, including the city manager, head of public works, the city attorney, and 2 other staff members. It was a very cordial meeting, and I was given the opportunity to express our desire to keep the bridges and the opportunity to ask questions. At the conclusion of the meeting, unfortunately, I was informed the bridges would still have to come out. I was told there was nothing that we could do except petition the city council to have this changed, Department of Public Works were following the regulations of the city of Kaiser. I was clearly disappointed, but understood. When I went home to my neighbors, I gave them a summary of the meeting, including the fact that at some point, Mr. Lawyer had said that if we could find solutions from other communities regarding these swales, that he might be able to present this to the council and that the city might entertain introducing those solutions to fix the safety issues of the neighborhoods with those swales. My neighbors and I got busy looking on the internet and found EPA guidelines and many examples of bridges, walkways, and paths used to create safe pathways from street to sidewalk. As other neighbors have stated, several of the neighbors have also brought up the concerns with the engineering of the swales, where several have gotten very deep, and others, the sidewalks are crumbling from underneath. In closing, tonight, I'm simply here representing them to present the solutions we have discovered and ask that we receive an extension to keep the bridges until the city council has had a chance to look over our findings and rule on whether or not these bridges are a viable solution. We understand the environmental impacts. We understand the thought behind the swales when they were installed. But we're here to find a solution for the safety of our friends and neighbors on the block and in the other communities as well.
Right. Thank you very much. Very much appreciate the thoughtfulness. So can you stand by for a sec?
Absolutely will.
Is there anyone else who would like to speak? Because I have 8 more folks who have signed up. Or are all of you agreed that what these 3 folks have said reflect your point of view? I see Mr. Parsons would like to address the council. So I'd like to invite you up to do that. And I want to make sure that everybody gets a chance to speak their piece. So I'm not trying to rush anybody.
Will there be a question? Did you ask me to stay?
Go ahead and, because you came up with the EPA solutions, so I have a question for you, but I want to hear everybody first, if that's okay.
Absolutely.
Okay. Mr. Parsons.
Yep, I'm Robert Parsons, here in Kaiser. And for all clarity, I am Counselor Parsons' husband. And so,
We won't hold that against you.
so
We feel your pain.
there's been other testimony about the erosion factor within these swales. And it's been approximately 2 years ago, Counselor Parsons and myself notified the city of the problem. And that, we were concerned that as bad as they were washing out, that the sidewalks will eventually collapse. And seeing as how that is my responsibility to repair them, we notified the city at that time that if something wasn't done to fix the design of them, that we might not be responsible for doing that. We would put it onto the cities because it's a poor design in there. The city looked at it, they came out, they did repair on approximately, I think it was 5 homes altogether that they actually came in, dug down, put a new 1 foot deep or 18-inch deep side or footer in there and filled in underneath the sidewalks. And that's where it stopped after 5 homes. Nothing else has been done in probably 18 months. And we've asked about it. They said, yours isn't the worst. There's others that are worse. We'll get to it when we can get to it. And nothing seems to be happening. So they're continually getting worse and worse. This year I noticed, as someone said, that now it's starting to erode from the curb side. So the street curb is now starting to be affected by it. If something's not fixed on them, before long, the sidewalks and the street side will collapse. I think so. Hopefully something can be, figured out. And by looking at the EPA designs and stuff, ours are not in what everything I read is not in with the EPA design for the stormwater swales. I think so. That's all I have.
All right. Thank you.
And
Yes.
Mayor, if I can add, the gentlemen and the ladies that I met with were extremely informative. So I'm not here sitting tonight. I also met with Mr. Lindsay. I'm not here tonight to say I didn't get proper education and all from your staff. They were wonderful. They were patient with me. They let me rant a little bit. So this isn't about them. This is about hoping we can find solutions together on this.
I appreciate that very much, and also concur with the professionalism of everybody involved in this conversation, so I appreciate that very much. I saw one more gentleman raise his hand.
Madam Mayor, can I say one?
And then Councilor Parsons.
All those who live on Lydia, could you stand up, please?
So, yeah, we've got
Thank you.
good contingent here. And
You okay?
Donald Sappington at 1352 Lydia Avenue. And my wife and I have been very concerned about the safety issues, particularly of people getting out of the car and facing the issue of turning their ankle. We know of people that have. We know of people that have fallen, like Steve mentioned, that have injured their teeth and their ankles and one of our neighbors reported that in an open house just down the street, an unsuspecting
person that probably did not buy the house. A passenger got out to view the open house and fell right into the ditch. It's a safety issue. We have to alert anybody coming to our house. We send an email out to anybody coming to our house, do not park near the curb because it's unsafe to get out. How would you like to face that in your neighborhood, telling people, do not park near the curb, park out a ways or park in front of our driveway, let out your passenger, and then find a parking place? It's very disturbing. When we moved into the house in 2016, we approached somebody in the city. We didn't document anything because we didn't think there'd be an issue, to see if we, at our own expense, could pay for a concrete extension of the curb on the inside to allow a little bit of a footprint so somebody could have a little bit wider step on the wider curb to step out that would be a little bit safer. And we were told that would not be possible. So this has been an issue that has been historic since we moved into the house. And finally, we thought we had a solution with Howie and the bridge, and we are one of the ones that installed the bridge, and it's been safer for that one spot, at least in front of our house, for a passenger to get out and to have a safe passage across there. Safety is our issue. If you can help us find a safe passage, that would be appreciated. We're not here to interfere with the drainage system, and the bridge does not interfere with that. That's not our issue. We want safety for the visitors and people that come onto our street to be able to get out of their cars without falling into a ditch and injuring themselves. So if you can help us figure that out, we are open to figuring out, taking out the bridge and constructing something else. We're wide open for your suggestions, but we want safety on our street. We don't want a lawsuit personally for somebody falling, and we don't want that to extend to the city. And you don't want that either. So help us.
Thank you very much. At this point, Mr. Lawyer, I've got a couple of questions. You've had a chance, obviously you've been apprised and involved in this conversation. My question to you, based on the comment that we heard, was this would be something that could come to council. What do you need from us in order to move forward with options for this neighborhood to incorporate both the requirements of our MPDES and the safety issues? How can we help this?
Well, currently, let me just start with this. The vegetated stormwater facilities, the swales, the ditches, whatever label you want to put on them, are part of the stormwater infrastructure. The same as a catch basin, a pipe underground, anything associated with stormwater conveyance in the city. It is against the city code to alter the conveyance system. The bridges alter the conveyance system, okay? We have had residents fill in areas of the vegetated facilities, even though they were directed not to by staff. They went ahead and did it anyway. They have since removed the gravel. When that was the instance that generated myself to have to take this issue on, I knew this was going to be a challenge, okay? I understand the residents' concerns. I appreciate the residents' concerns. Those were there when the homes were built. That was part of the subdivision design. All these homeowners, all these people bought the homes knowing those were there, okay? The city can't be responsible for everybody making purchases in the city, okay? I reviewed this data that they handed out. The one showing the Green Streets Handbook was dated 2021. Those facilities were designed in 2015, built 2015, 2016. So this is after they were installed. As we have moved forward in time, at the time that the design was put in place and the subdivision was built, that was in the industry, the method for bio-treatment of stormwater and infiltration before it is released to the waterways. We're required to clean up the stormwater. Green infrastructure, excuse me, we've all heard that term, is the preferred way to go. And so we worked with engineers and design people to come up with something that seemed like it would work to achieve the goal of cleaning up the stormwater before it's released to the waterways. Excuse me. Since 2016, we've learned some things. And the designs now have evolved from linear facilities like at Lydia, Lacey, Farmland Lane, Aldine Court, other areas of the city having linear facilities, vegetative stormwater facilities, to local regional facilities. Two new developments in Kaiser have those. Bolander Meadows up off of OPEC, and a new one that's still under construction. Clear Lake Meadows, or Clear Lake Commons is the name of that project, have 9-foot deep concrete walled areas of bio-retention, bio-treatment for stormwater. I personally hate them. I think they look horrible. I'm concerned about safety for kids long-term in those facilities, but the industry has moved that way, okay? They're gonna hold water. They're open. You can go swimming in them if you want when there's water in them. I wouldn't recommend that in any way because it's not clean water. My point is the design work has evolved to try to figure out, not just by Kaiser, but by agencies all over the state and the country on how to meet the requirements and the permits, okay? What I need from the council is direction telling me to change the code.
Okay.
Find a solution, okay? And I'm gonna have to recommend, if we can't find a solution, that's gonna be the recommendation. We can't find a solution. Looking at these handouts, these crossings are not bridges. They're crossings. I can't do crossings that reduces the capacity of those facilities. I can't recommend that, okay? I don't know what the answer is. I really don't know what the answer is right now. Bridges have a concern, okay? If we, the city, allow the bridges, then they have to be built to a standard that prevents people falling into the swales, okay? That might mean handrails. That might mean, I don't know what that means, okay? But I have a responsibility to protect the liability of the city in design, okay? Designs that we approve. So this is not an easy answer. This is not an easy solution, and I'm not sure there is a practical solution out there. I'm not saying we can't look for one, but it's not an easy thing to come up with. That's why we ended with the conversation with Mr. Robertson, that right now, we have to say they gotta come out. We didn't approve them, we're not gonna authorize them, and if we do authorize them, then we're on the hook with liability potentially if somebody falls off of them. The other thing I wanna make a mention of, many comments were said tonight about they're unsafe if you fall in them. They aren't meant to be in. They were designed to keep people out of them. That was part of the design back then. We don't want people in there. So that's part of the whole complex problem. The other thing I want to mention is there was talk about the eroding of the areas under the sidewalk and under the curb. That's really more of a sloughing issue, not an eroding issue. What I mean by that is the material there was placed by the contractors that built them. It wasn't compacted well, and it has sloughed off to the bottom, okay? There's no velocity in those swales that would cause that to erode. The water comes up and goes back down again. And we are monitoring, and we have made some repairs, as was mentioned, and are committed to continue to do that as we have time and we feel that they're to the point that we can do an effective repair that's gonna last, so.
So I felt a disturbance in the force when you said, council give direction, and I believe that is going to happen. That we would like to, with the, through the city manager, to direct staff to work on solutions that will address the issues that have been raised by the residents and in compliance with the requirements that we have. And we understand that there are liability and MPDES. I'm going to go down the line. So everybody, you're all going to get called on in order to make sure that we find a collaborative solution.
And if
To
I
the
may,
greatest extent
if I may,
possible.
Madam Mayor, one more comment that I wanted to make, I did not make.
Yes.
We have reached out to other cities in the area, Albany and Salem specifically, that have these same kinds of facilities, and they do not allow bridges either. So we're not alone here. And they're facing the same challenges that we're facing. So.
Okay. I appreciate the challenge, and we have a great deal of confidence in your problem-solving abilities. With that, I know everybody wants to ask questions and comments, so I'm going to start with Council President Starr and then loop around and conclude with Councilor Cross, okay? Council President Starr.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Mr. Lawyer, I'm sure you're shocked that I have questions.
Just
And
just
if you
one
want,
more.
if you want to return, actually, before you start, does anybody have any questions for,
Oh, sorry.
Maybe.
yeah,
Maybe.
okay. So are you willing to be,
And if okay, following your talk, I'd like, some things came up that I would like to
okay.
add to now.
I didn't want to leave you on the hot seat.
I appreciate, no, I'm fine. Thank you.
Okay. She's your neighbor, so I'll let that one stand. All right, I'll go to Council President Starr.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. So I went out today and parked, and then walked up and down the sidewalks. And one of the things that I did when I parked was I went around and I looked at the passenger side. And there is no way that a passenger could have gotten out of my car without
Stepping in this way.
stepping in and potentially really injuring themselves. So short of doing exactly what the last speaker said, parking somewhere and letting them out and then go park, or parking out into the street. So there was, which I don't think anybody wants that, because then you risk your car getting hit or whatever. So you'd pretty much have to be Simone Biles to get out of the car and not hurt yourself on that little piece of curb. So I did want to recognize that I looked at that today. I did also, when I was walking up and down both sides of Lydia Avenue, I did notice several areas where there were open spots down into the swale. So if you were walking, maybe what I was thinking is a family with, with a little child, they're holding their hand, and you're 2 or 3 across the sidewalk, somebody could slip off the edge of the sidewalk and fall into the swale, again, injuring themselves. And to somebody's point, they're 5 feet tall, as am I would disappear into the swale and the bushes. So I did recognize that as well, and I heard that mentioned. I think I don't understand how the city is not I recognize what you said, Mr. Lawyer, about people knowingly bought the house. But what I don't understand is how could we have signed off on those swales and there's literally no handrails and they're 2 feet deep on the sidewalk side, or not given an appropriate space for somebody to step out of a car. I mean, a curb is there in my mind, so that's where you park. So where is the passenger supposed to get out? That's what I don't understand. So I personally will be in favor of directing staff to come back with a solution. Not a recommendation, but we need a solution. And I would like to see that come back, that conversation happen with the residents. That conversation, have the residents and staff at the table having those conversations, because they're the ones who live there every day and have people coming and parking and they're walking on the sidewalks. I will tell you, my heart clenched when I was walking down that sidewalk thinking about a little kid trying to ride their bike and what would happen if they went off the side and into that swale. I mean, we've got a problem. And I think the other question I had is, who's maintaining that? Because when I looked, when I was walking and I looked at the curb side of some of these swales, I can see chunks of cement breaking off. And then there's bushes overgrown. Nothing is the same height anywhere and everything looks different. So whose responsibility is it to maintain what's in the swale? Is it ours on the city? And what about, so we're not doing, I'm seeing lots of head nods, so then we're not doing that. It doesn't look like to me. And then chunks of cement or whatever, the sidewalk or the curb are literally breaking off. And there's things that are kind of sideways in there. And I just think, I think it's a bad accident. And we've already had one, right? A lip, you know, tooth through a lip. We've already had bad accidents, and I think it's coming, and we need to find a solution. So with all due respect, I think a solution, not a recommendation.
I think there was a couple of questions in there. One was on
I heard
the,
one question. Who maintains it?
yeah,
Who does?
Contractor hired by the city.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, they maintain the vegetation in the soil, they're there to trim it, and as I mentioned to Mr. Robertson, I see they're not doing what they're supposed to do, okay? And we need to know that, so that we could make them adhere to their contract.
Oh, I think you will.
Oh, I already know this.
But do we
I already know. So Mr. Robertson brought it to my attention, we'll have the discussion with the contractor, and they will meet the standards of the city.
Do we do like just random quality or quality assurance checks on our contractor work on things like that?
Yes, we do. And as was stated, it's a lot better now than it used to be, and I'm not making excuses. What I'm saying is, we have a good contractor on board and have had for 2 years, I believe now. Let's say the second and third year of their contract. And they, comparatively speaking, okay, are doing a great job. Is there room for improvement? Yes.
How are the, sorry, one
Follow up?
Yeah, just one more.
One more.
How are the, and this is more of an education to me, because when I walked it and I saw the bridges, I saw there were spaces between the slats on the bridges where the water could go through. How is that bad?
I never said it was bad.
But you said it
You
wasn't
did. You
allowed.
said it impedes.
I said the bridges are not allowed.
That's
We
what
did
I'm
not
asking.
approve them, and if somebody falls off one of them, who's liable? Okay? The spacing, is it big enough for a high heel to stick in?
Well, so
For
are all the
instance?
sidewalks in Salem, because I do it all the time. You stick in a little thing. I mean,
I'm just asking the question. I have not seen them face to face, in person myself. I've not gotten out and walked and looked at them, so I don't know specifically myself.
I mean, I'm just trying to understand why they're not allowed, because they weren't approved by the city.
They weren't, they're altering
city
the
code.
stormwater infrastructure. That is against the code that we have in place
So
today.
we can change the code and say they're allowed if they have a handrail.
We can change the code
Okay. Yeah, they're not
to
bad.
indicate what is and what is not allowed.
Okay. Right. Perfect.
The
Thank you.
other comment I want to make, you talked about no railings on the sidewalk, okay? We're under construction for a boardwalk through a wetland project, wetlands mitigation project along property at Claggett Creek. That's going to be 2 feet off the ground, okay? There's no railing,
But it's wide.
okay? It's wide. Still no railing.
That helps.
Not required. Well, I mean, if there's a
So I'll just
classroom,
enter into the wetland?
taking a walk, a educational hike out there, taking up 8.5 feet of that walkway,
Yeah.
the issue doesn't change.
Yeah.
They're not required at 2 feet. I'll just tell you that. That is not a requirement. A railing is not
coming-
required.
we're
And
coming your
I
way.
checked into this on the design of the boardwalk because I didn't want a railing from the aesthetic standpoint on that project, okay? So I just want to, just mention that, so that's out there.
I
Okay,
feel a
and
little
then-
bit differently because of the kids on bikes, but okay.
So,
All right, well, we're going to go on to Counselor Christopher. Do you have a couple questions?
Maybe.
Just one more.
So my understanding is one of the neighbors said they've been given letters that said they have to take their bridges down by a date, and I believe the date was September 2nd. So the first thing I want to talk about is an immediate moratorium on that till we figure this problem out, so that y'all don't go to swale jail. And, and you have to take down your bridges, and then we figure out how you can use them, and then you have to put your bridges back. So that's the first thing we should do, is give them a moratorium on that till we can figure this out. And I'm not, not indefinitely forever. I mean, let's do it every 30 days till we can figure it out, number one. Number two, I think there's enough liability to go around. I mean, everybody's talking about liability, and it's like, oh my gosh, liability if I get my high heels stuck in the bridge, and I might take a header into the swale. Well, they're already 2 feet deep, yeah. And without that bridge there's still the potential that you could take a header into that. So I think there's enough liability to go around. And I don't think we should stand behind that. I understand what you're saying, you can't make a recommendation. So don't make a recommendation. Say, here's how I'm gonna take care of my neighbors. Here's what I'm gonna do to fix this. Here's how I'm gonna keep them out of swale jail. I did not like the indication that you got me on a bad day. I was fighting with State Farm today.
Please don't take that out on me.
I did not like that. Y'all knew
you didn't have
when
to
you
change.
bought that house that there was gonna be a swale there. And so y'all knew that you're gonna have to figure out how to get out of your car. Did y'all know? Exactly. And so I think it's incumbent upon us as neighbors to help them through this and help them find a way that we can mitigate their pain. And I agree with Counselor Starr. I don't think that the excuse of it's not covered by city code is good enough of an answer. I think if it's not impeding what that swale is doing, and I don't think it is, and I was out there today too, and I took pictures today, and I didn't have high heels on. But if I would have, I wouldn't have gotten caught in the two that I looked at. I think we need to think about living life. And these folks are living life. They have family, they have children, and there's enough liability in all these different ways. But let's listen to them and hear what they're saying. And they're saying, we're making their lives tougher. Let's not do that. Let's not do that. I don't know if there was a question there, but there you go.
I did hear one, but I'm gonna go, Mr. Lawyer, then I'll see if I can pull that question out.
I will do my best to come up with a solution. I don't know that 30 days is long enough. This is not an easy.
Then let's give them 90.
Let's give them 2 years.
Great.
I mean,
Whatever it takes,
but
Bill.
the
I don't want to make
other-
it tougher
and that-
on you.
That's fine. The other thing to remember, these are in other parts of the city,
Understood?
in front of a lot of other homes. They're not an issue anywhere else.
Well.
Well, no, and I say this,
Bill,
I say,
can't believe you said that out loud.
I did say it out loud, and I'll say it again. We have not been contacted as staff on these issues by anywhere else in the city. Nowhere else, yet, okay? Now that it's public, now that it's out there, we probably will. But to date, we have not been. So everybody else out there, which is a lot more homes than is on Lydia Street, have figured it out.
Have they though?
They've accepted it. They haven't come complained. They figured it out. I mean, why is that? I bring that up as a point, as a statement. I don't understand that. I don't understand the why behind that. I just know the what. And it's an interesting dynamic to me. And I don't know the reason behind it. So.
I'm gonna kind of move past that, right now, and I do have a follow-up question, because there was something that Councilor Christopher said, and that's about the liability. Since the city is responsible for these facilities, allowing something that is not approved by code to remain there, who's liable? Yeah, and so the risk to all the people of I've asked Mr. Lindsay, please.
Thank you. There is no quick and easy answer about liability, because if somebody gets hurt and they decide to sue, they probably name everybody first, and then it becomes a fight over who gets removed from the complaint. But the reality is, think about it this way. This is right-of-way, right? Because it was dedicated to the city for maintenance purposes, right? It was made by somebody else. And then it became city right-of-way. so that it could be part of a functioning stormwater system. And so right now, there's liability for the city, but there's also liability so you have a roadway in front of your house. If you go and you make a weird ramp because you want to jump your bike, and you put it out in front of your house, or you make a bear trap and put it out in front of your house in the street. Dollars to Donuts, if somebody gets hurt in your bear trap because you decided to make one and put it out in the right of way, it won't just be the city. It'll be, hey, you made a bear trap and somebody got hurt. So I mean, if somebody's doing something in the right of way, negligence can still occur and people can still be responsible and people can be harmed, right? But this is to say this is a long way down the road, and that nobody is currently doing this. And so maybe to Councilor Christopher's point, we have more or less liability once we know something and then we turn a blind eye to it when it's in the right of way. So that's where Mr. Lawyer starts to say, hey, now that we've heard about this and we can't really keep turning a blind eye to it because these are unpermitted things. Now, can we potentially go back and maybe give a permit and say, oh, yeah, we looked at the construction, or maybe it meets some specs that we didn't have in our code before, but we change it and we grandfather it in, whatever. But it's not illegitimate what Mr. Lawyer is saying, is that if we have a stormwater facility, you can't just go to the sewer and like make something over it like you want, you know what I mean? And it's the same way here. The technology of these, my understanding of it, and I'm not the environmental person, but my understanding is the technology is the plants themselves, because because it takes the stormwater off, the dirty water basically off your street and runs it through the plant system so that your stormwater then goes into the ground clean. So it really is about the plants. So I don't think you can have so many of these things. You need room for plants, and because they chose linear instead of like a giant park setting to do this in, like some neighborhoods do, the functionality of it is in sort of the footage of it. And so you can't give up all footage, all plant footage. Now, whether or not we can figure out how plants grow around things or whatever. So I think there's room for optimism probably, but we want to just make sure that we're also following DEQ's guidance on things too, because that is, the city comes, the bigger liability is on the city for that one. Because we have licensing requirements and permitting requirements for those sorts of things. So I hope that sort of dances around the answer for you guys.
I think we can partner and hopefully prove that, okay, you can have a walkway bridge that is 24 inches wide. And
Microphone.
And that's not going to impede the work of the plants. I mean, I think there, like you said, there is opportunity for optimism because we can work together, find a safer way for folks to get out of their cars and into the homes, and at the same time, not take away from the work of the plants to make our stormwater cleaner.
So with that, I'm going to go to, real quick question, I'm going to go to Kyle, and then we're going to work through the rest of our comments and then turn it over to staff to come back with a recommendation at a later date.
So just
Yeah.
a quick question. Shamawa, is that a stormwater facility as well? Is that washed by the plants as well?
Shamar Road North, yes.
Shamawa Road?
Yes.
So I took pictures of Shamawa Road North. I'd like to pass out.
If you want to give that to Ms. Bissett, please. Yeah, there's no,
If the plants are such a significant part, and I put 4x4 posts, and you can see my property is there, the one that's completely overgrown on the bridge there. I took away potentially 4x4, 16, 32, 64 square inches of potential plant. If our situation is the same for the filtration as Shamawa, why are we required to have more plants per square inch than clearly what was on Shamawa? Because there's 30 and 40 foot strips where there's not a single plant on Shamawa. So if the problem is with the DEQ, and the DEQ is saying, well, that violates our standard with the city of Kaiser, then what are we going to do about Shamawa as a resident of the city of Kaiser? And Mr. Lawyer, I don't mean to put you on the spot here, but I have to
the
be
answer.
honest, the two comments, the you bought it, you knew it kind of thing, was not exactly. And the fact that you have changed your plan because there was bad engineering in the beginning and recognize that. Buildings were never built with ramps for handicapped people. People make adjustments. So yeah, granted, in 2015, you probably went on the best information you had, and I have no problem with that. This isn't about you, sir. This is not about the city of Kaiser. This is not about the city council. This is not about the people on the council who allowed the contractor at the time to make the decision whether he wanted to put the linear thing in and lose a parcel or have unsafe areas in front of our homes. So this has now become a little bit personal, and I'm sure that everybody back there, it got real personal with them too. When you're buying a new home, you're not thinking about getting out onto a curb this wide. Now, if you're talking about handrails on my bridge is this wide, your curb is this wide. So if we're in the same situation, you said 2 feet is legal, then why would my bridge need it? So I'm not here, I did not come here tonight. I came in here with the best intention of staying professional and not personal. You made it personal, sir. And I am here for my residents. I have a son who has 2 babies. He pulls up in his minivan, he can't get his kids out of the car in any spot but basically mine and my neighbors. So you're asking our residents to take their babies out on the side of the road. May I ask you a question, sir? What's the legal amount that we're allowed to park from the curb?
It's gonna be 12 inches or less.
12 inches or less. So now you're giving somebody this much to step out of their car, not hit the curb with their toe, if I park as far away as I can. One of the suggestions that was given to me in that meeting, and again, I was not going to bring this up, but it has gotten to that point, was park about 2 feet away from the curb. You'll have room to get out. Room to get out. Everybody does that on that block. That street's 32 feet wide. Each car is about 7 feet wide without a mirror. So now you're in 14, you got 18 feet left. You can't fit 2 cars basically down that road with that situation. So all we're asking for, and yeah, maybe we're the first community to care, or maybe we're the first community that took it past the first 2 and everybody went outside and was like, man, I went to City Hall, didn't get anywhere, and everybody just let it go. And this community didn't want that. This community said, enough's enough. And we'd like a result, and we'd like an answer at least, and we'd like to understand because it was the reasons, okay? I care about the environment. I care greatly about the environment. I'm gonna be dead before the environment kills everybody. My kids and my grandkids may not be, okay? If that's the case about the environment. I can't see how my 4x4 posts are doing damage to the amount of water that flows through there. If you look at my property, I got more plants per square inch than just about anybody in the city of Kaiser. So my bridge didn't do anything. Bill's bridge is probably even more. We did nothing to disturb the way that those bridges work. And I'm not saying we're right, we're dead wrong. I'm saying that right here on the record, we were wrong for not getting permitted. Didn't really think about it. I just was trying to make my family safe. That's what this whole thing was about. And so when I get excuses that that was a political answer. I'm not saying Republican, Democrat, I'm saying that's good politics. Just say, well, this is what it is. That wasn't a common sense answer. Common sense is, we couldn't get handicapped people up the curb. We stripped away the corners, we put ramps in, we put in, the street signs talked to us. We improved. So yes, there was a mistake made in 2014, 2012, whatever it was. But here we are in 2025. There's gotta be an answer out there. You standardize it. I don't care. You tell me I gotta hire a contractor. I don't care. Give me the option. I'm not saying leave me alone. I'm not saying that. You tell me it's gonna cost me $50 for my permit. You give me a set of plans and I can build it to that. The inspector comes out and he inspects it. Whatever it takes. We're not rule breakers. We're not law breakers. We're people that give a crap about our kids, our families, our elder citizens. That's all this is about, sir. This is not a personal attack on you or the Department of Public Works here. Your guys are great. I'm right behind the water plant or whatever it is behind me. They're in my backyard. They're always very conscious of my family. It's been a wonderful relationship since I moved here to Kaiser. And all I came here tonight, that's why I stayed really calm in my speech. I wrote it so I didn't get like this because I got an Italian background. And there's an order back there of who's going to pull me off this microphone because my wife is out of town. Okay? So this is just, and I don't want to repeat, I don't want to hold people's days and nights up here, I'm sorry, but this is only about safety. That's all this is. That's
Yeah.
it. And whatever we need to do to make it right by the city, we don't want the city liable. I live here. I don't want you guys to get sued. You get sued, my taxes go up. I'm not stupid.
Exactly.
I mean, so that's where we are. So, Mr. Lawyer, I'm sorry, sir. I really did not come here with an intent to attack you tonight. I really did not. That you do a very hard job here. I'm a general manager of a golf club. All stuff flows downstream. I understand your position, sir, and I understand that your job is to protect them. I get it. It's just like my job is to protect my board. 100%. But his main job is to protect you, and I appreciate that in him. He's supposed to protect the city of Kaiser, and he's supposed to keep rule breakers. And I'm saying it, I'm a rule breaker for doing that. He's supposed to hold me to task. But all I'm asking for is how can we work together to make this better?
Right.
And I'll leave it at that.
Yes, I very much appreciate it. I know Mr. Lawyer hasn't answered one of your questions, but I want to affirm what we are doing, what the neighbors are doing together is we've identified the problem. And that's why I asked Mr. Lawyer right from the start, what do you need from us to move this conversation forward so we can get to the yes, whatever that yes looks like? Mr. Lawyer oftentimes takes what I call the Scotty approach. He, under promises and over delivers. And that he's going to tell us the worst case scenario, so that gives him the time to come back with the best solution. And we've seen that time and time again. I'm going to give a lot of credit to our staff. We do understand that this is an issue that needs to be addressed, and working toward a solution collaboratively. And it's okay, to share. There's a lot of feeling and frustration involved. Getting to a solution that works, that's going to protect your liability, the city's liability, and the environment all at the same time. I believe that we will find that space.
Appreciate that.
It's okay. Mr. Lawyer, would you like to answer the question?
Thank you,
And then I'll
Madam
go
Mayor.
to Mr. Collins.
First of all,
Duran.
Mr. Robertson, I apologize if I offended you and attacked you personally. Nothing I said was directed at anybody in this room personally. Nothing. So I want to apologize for that, first off.
I accept
Okay.
your apology. And
I don't take it personal, okay?
Okay.
My job is to protect the community first. The council, believe it or not, is second, okay? I have 40,000 bosses I work for. I work for the city manager, number one. He's my boss, direct. The other 39,999 are my indirect bosses. They're more important to me than him, okay? And I mean this sincerely. I've been at this for almost 37 years, and I've had the same attitude the whole time. So I'm not offended. I'm not taking it personal. I've gotten beat up more times than I want to talk about, okay? But that's okay. That's part of the job, okay? As a public employee, public servant, we got to accept getting beat up because we're going to get beat up. I try to minimize it, and I try to own, when I'm wrong, I own it, okay? So again, I apologize. Nothing I've said is toward you personally or anybody in this room personally. So I want to make that clear.
I appreciate that.
You made the comment of bad engineering. I did not say it was bad engineering, okay? I did not say that. I want to clarify that. It was the engineering in place at the time, okay? So just clarity.
Fair enough.
Shamara Road North facilities don't exactly fit the vegetative stormwater facility definition because they don't go anywhere. That water goes right in the ground, okay? When that was built, the way we designed the Shamar Road North project, there's no storm drain system there, none, when that was built.
That's why I asked if it was the same scenario.
Exactly.
That's why I asked
They
that
look the
question.
same, they look similar, but they're not the
Okay.
same. That was done, through the city and coming up, trying to be creative on how to deal with stormwater and not have to spend millions of dollars taking a pipe to the river, okay? And so what we built there was an infiltration system, okay, that the water comes off the road, goes through the cuts in the curb, and goes in the ground. Well, we knew from protecting the environment, Kaiser's a groundwater system. Stormwater goes in the ground. It ends up in the groundwater. We want to keep our groundwater clean, okay? Again, I work for 40,000 people. I protect 40,000 people. Primarily drinking water is important. We want to clean the water up. So even though we weren't required or had to, We put plants in those areas, okay? Yeah, there are areas with no plants. You're exactly right. The areas that have plants, personally, I think they look horrible. They're terrible looking. The grasses took over, they're overgrown. They look horrible, horrible. And I've challenged my staff to come up with a replanting plan, which they have in place, and we're gonna be doing from 15th west toward the park first as an experimental area to replant and see how the plants take, how they fill in and what it looks like. Because I think what's there today looks horrible. I live down there. I drive it multiple times a day and I hate looking at it. Okay, so there are differences in the systems. Okay. And this one on Shamawa, that was designed and built back in 2008, I think. It predates our stormwater permits, okay? But we knew what was coming. We knew what we were gonna have to do. And as I said, we wanna protect the environment at all costs and our groundwater at all costs, so.
Appreciate that, sir.
You bet.
Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Thank you very much. Counselor Duran. Then we'll circle around.
Okay, I've got a couple things. A residential railing needs to be put on a structure at over 30 inches. So that's why the 2 foot isn't an issue. But to me, the space at the curb, like a little kid riding on a bike, that always scares me. The bushes are there, they don't know that that's a drop. So that to me is more of a problem than the 2 feet in the center. I would like to see a way we can come up with a plan to allow bridges, allow the homeowners to make something that works with a minimum or maximum space it can take up for each section for the that doesn't allow the shrubs in it. I mean, grass can still grow underneath them probably, but that's about it, my guess. Maybe some way we can do if you meet this requirement, we don't have to permit it. I don't know if that would work, but give them if we can come up with a plan and say, here, if you do this, you're fine. But you take the liability. And even if we have to have them sign some kind of a waiver saying, if you guys do this, it's on you, but we're going to allow it. So you guys have to meet this requirement. If you don't, it's all on you. So I would like to see a way that something like that works and we just make it as easy as possible for everybody and just come up with a standard that says, if you do it this way, we're cool with it and it makes everybody happy. Because I can't see not being able to park in front of your house and get in and out. That just seems ridiculous to me. So I'd like to find an easy way to get through this.
Okay, thank you very much. There's a number of areas where we can't get out, but that's not because there's a bioswale, it's because there's shrubbery all the way up to the upside of the road. But that's not what we're talking about. I'm gonna circle around. Councilor Parsons, do you have anything any questions or to add?
Madam Mayor, I just stand with my neighbors and Howie has spoke for me.
Thank you.
And so my husband, thank you.
All right, Councilor Kohler.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Just a couple of things. I understand that the EPA and the DEQ have certain rules and requirements, and I guess one of the questions I have is that can anything grow underneath a bridge that would meet the requirements?
I'll have to find out that answer. I don't honestly know. And the other thing too is, it's more than just an EPA requirement. It's also part of the design of the facility that there was, through the design, there was a certain amount of biomaterial accounted for to clean the water. So it's not just an EPA thing, it's also the design thing. It's all things we'll consider looking for solutions.
Thank you for that. You mentioned that the city would have liability if we allowed a bridge. Don't we already have liability without the bridge? And so I guess my suggestion would be we work together and figure out a way to make this work.
Okay. Councilor Cross.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I am in agreement with Council President Starr in asking for a solution, and it's not going to be easy, it sounds like. But until that, just start with the moratorium of 90 days for the bridges.
Or 6 months.
Yeah, or 6 months, but we have to seek to understand. And I do want to say, if they had this meeting, City Manager Brown, I would, like, instead of it getting to this point, it would be nice if maybe some of the counselors were brought in. I mean, it sounds like you had a pretty good meeting. It sounds like this is a pretty passionate topic. So I think we can do better.
Yeah, I must, again, I want to defend the staff that met me at that meeting. I went home and we were resolved to it. And then, we just got talking amongst ourselves, and the part about, hey, maybe some other community has done this, and we just started researching. And so that's why we're here
So yeah,
tonight.
just maybe, I just want it on the record, meeting more in the middle and saying yes to the no instead of just no.
But they were extremely professional, and they were very, I don't know what the right word is,
We're
in telling
doing
me.
awesome, don't get me wrong, but if we have room for growth.
No, but in telling me, they were very nice, it wasn't like, hey, too bad, go home, get your bridge out of there. They actually extended our, it was a very cordial,
Good.
meeting with all of your employees. I just want to make sure that is on the record as well.
All right, thank you very much. Mr. Brown?
Thank you, Madam Mayor and Council. So our meeting with Howie was just 12 days ago. So at that meeting, we committed that we would research methods, see what options were available. So our commitment stands that we will continue to work on solutions. Again, it's only 12 days ago that we had this meeting with.
Well, and our
the
concern
neighborhood.
came up about the deadline.
Yes, and we actually told you that we would extend the.
Correct, to the
right.
second. But
So-
but that's coming up now on us. So we wanted to come and present and see if we could just get the extension. That's all it was. So that was the whole purpose of tonight, sir.
Yep, we will,
Because I don't want to run into one of them at the grocery store and not help them.
yeah.
They'll just push you.
Marlene's enough for me.
She's enough for us.
Okay, thank you.
Yep, you got it.
Mr. Brown, Council President Starr has written a draft motion for us. We will need to suspend the rules to take up the matter of directing staff regarding Lydia Avenue. So I've got a motion to suspend the rules.
Second.
I've got a second from Councilor Christopher. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, signify by saying no. Motion carries. We will now take up the matter of the Lydia Avenue bioswale. And Council President Starr, would you put your motion on the table, please?
Absolutely. Thank you, Madam Mayor. I move that the Kaiser City Council direct staff to institute a moratorium not to exceed 180 days on the order to remove bridges, and we direct staff to work with the residents to develop viable solutions to present to council and other residents. And we also direct staff to initiate a risk assessment through CIS.
Second.
Thank you. It's been moved and seconded that the Kaiser City Council direct staff to institute a 180-day, not to exceed 180-day moratorium on the order to remove the bridges, direct staff to work with the residents to develop viable solutions and to present to council and residents. And we also direct staff to initiate a risk assessment through CIS. Discussion? Okay, we'll go to Councilor Parsons and then Councilor Kohler.
Thank you. This question is for Mr. Lindsay. Mr. Lindsay, can I vote on this matter, or do I need to step back?
I think if you have a potential conflict, even if it isn't an actual monetary benefit or trying to get away from detriment for yourself or your family, but I would say that because of your proximity to it, it's just a safer potential conflict that you would want to avoid.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I'll recuse myself.
So noted. Councilor Kohler?
Just have a question for Mr. Lawyer. Is 180 days enough to really study everything out and to come up with an answer? Would it be better to make that 6 months?
That is 6 months.
180 days.
Yes.
Can I borrow your
Mr.
calculator?
Mr. Lawyer?
We're going to go ahead with the 60.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Mr.
Madam
Lawyer.
Mayor, Council Kohler. If 180 days, otherwise known as 6 months, is not enough, I'll be back asking for an extension.
Okay, perfect.
So, I mean, should we make that longer then to be, or?
I don't, so honestly, I think that's fine, but I do reserve the right to request an extension should it not be enough.
Oh, of course.
Thank you. All right. Any further discussion? I just want to add one comment. I appreciate the collaborative conversation here to find solutions. And appreciate people bringing this to our attention so we can get to yes. All in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, signify by saying no. Abstentions?
One, aye.
Okay. Motion passes with 6 aye, abstention by Counselor Parsons. Thank you very much. We're coming up on 8 o'clock, but we do need to move forward with item 9. Oh, we need to do the consent calendar, please. Council President Starr, would you please read the items on tonight's consent calendar?
Consent calendar for tonight reads, item A, 2024 to 2025 surplus property report. Item B, resolution authorizing the city manager to sign amendment number 2 to agreement with the state of Oregon for Verta Lane, Dearborn Avenue to Ascot Lane project. And item C, approval of the August 4th, 2025 regular session minutes.
Thank you very much. Are there any polls? Seeing none, Council President Starr?
I move that we adopt the consent calendar as read.
Second.
The consent calendar has been moved and seconded. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, signify by saying no. Motion passes unanimously. We have no public hearings this evening, so we will now go as agreed to item 9C, which is a legislative position on Chariot's payroll tax. And I believe this was brought by Counselor Starr? I'm sorry, Counselor Cross.
Yep. So,
Okay.
Madam Mayor, I
yes, thank you.
request to be excused from this conversation. I have a potential conflict of interest.
All right, thank you very much. You are excused. Counselor Cross.
I thought it was important as a city councilor and representing the businesses and people that live here in Salem Kaiser that we talked about this and talked about a position, because I think anyone that knows me knows that I'm completely against taxes that aren't voted on. And this would impose a tax that governor-appointed board members vote on. And it's been compared a lot to, I'll let City Manager Brown give the back report and have any questions, but it's been reported a lot to compare this to what Lane County and to what Portland Metro are doing. Portland Metro and Lane County do not have that extra line item on property taxes. So this is essentially, to me, a double dip, and this was voted down by the people in 2015 or 16 by 60%. And so, yeah, I'd like to have a good, healthy, crucial conversation about this.
Thank you very much, Mr. Brown.
Thank you, Madam Mayor and Council. I'll just briefly cover the issue. Councilor Cross asked for this item to be on the agenda, and as per the council rules, 3 councilors can add anything on. So Councilor Duran and Councilor Christopher, second and thirded this item. I learned that is a word, thirded, this past week, which, thanks, Councilor Starr. Yeah, I was so happy about that. Anyway, it's the council's prerogative to take legislative positions on this kind of activity. Staff, our intention is to remain neutral and present facts. So as Councilor Cross stated, this item, a previous ballot measure to increase or implement a 0.21% payroll tax was voted down in 2015. In 2018, Senate Bill 1536 gave Chariots the authority to implement an employer-paid payroll tax as soon as January 1, 2026. And so I wanted to point out that that was an error in my report. I said that they had to do it by January 1, 2026. So, but it should have read it. They can do it as soon as January 1, 2026. So I'm glad I had the opportunity to correct that. Should have any misread, and I appreciate that being pointed out too. At the same time that happened, the board was changed from being an elected board to an appointed board by the governor. The tax being discussed is 0.7%. The state cap is 0.8%, although the TriMet payroll tax is just above that. I'm guessing that's probably grandfathered in, but I don't know that for sure, but I do know there is a state cap and that's above it. The Lane County one is under that cap. There would be some governmental organizations and nonprofits excluded from this employer-paid tax. It's expected to be phased in. As Councilor Cross said, there are two other transit districts in the state, being Lane County Transit District and TriMet, that have payroll taxes. And from my research, they don't have property taxes, as Councilor Cross said. The complication with this proposal is the unfortunate timing of the transportation fix that is proposed to increase the state payroll tax, transportation tax from 0.1% to 0.2%, which would, again, it's a timing issue, would affect at the same time. We received a request from Executive Director Alan Pollock this afternoon requesting an opportunity for them to present the issue to the City Council prior to them taking a position. With that said, we will pass on whatever direction the council takes to the appropriate legislators involved in this decision-making.
Thank you very much. Councilor Cross.
Sorry, I did want to add too, that Chariots is doing a great job. They got a lot of money in their reserves, so this isn't something that they're in the red. Is that correct, Adam?
I believe they do have a healthy fund balance. I haven't looked at their long-term plans.
Okay, I just want to give a prop. And do you know what that extra dollar amount, if that transportation package passes at the Capitol, that they'll get?
I believe I read 39 million.
No, 39 million would be if this payroll, I'm saying if the governors, that'll multiply, I believe, but somebody can fact check me. But I think maybe somebody out there, when they give public testimony, I think they'll get another 8 or 10 million. Okay.
So I've got a question. Do we have a link or the language that's being proposed by Chariots? I don't have anything. All I know is that we were asked to talk about it, but I don't have what they're asking. I don't have a copy.
It's 0.007 and it will cost every employee, it's between the 480 and 500.
Is there,
An employee.
was there something that they passed that we could get a copy of to read it?
They haven't passed it.
They've been discussed. The proposal, was that brought to the Chariots board? Was it discussed and can we read it?
I don't think so.
No.
I think it's coming up.
So I can say Councilor Duran was at the meeting that the Salem Chamber held and they did a slideshow and it's that 0.0007.
But they didn't have.
But there was nothing. They haven't gone to the board.
Yeah.
Not until October.
Yeah.
I just want to get ahead of it.
Did you say Chariots presented to the Salem?
Salem Chamber, yes. Yep, the board and Alan.
Is there a way to get a link to that presentation?
I'm sure there is. It's online. The Salem Chamber posted it.
Yeah, I believe it's posted online. I think I read it and I'll get that link and send it to you.
Yeah.
That's where I read it.
Okay.
Sorry.
No, I'm asking clarifying questions because I've been following the state legislation, so this is not something that I've read and understand in its context. So I'm trying to understand the question and where it came from. So I'm gonna get our speakers up
TJ
here,
is
but I
a wealth of
wanted to.
knowledge.
Okay, that will be helpful.
Yeah.
But I want to find out what we know and what we have, and where this process is with the Chariots Board. It is another government, and I want to make sure that I'm getting the factual information regarding that government entity to be able to make a decision. So I appreciate that. Yes?
Thank you. One more question, Adam. How much does that board get paid?
It was, I believe, looking at their budget, I believe their total compensation was 21,000 for the year.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's split
That's
amongst what,
was that
9?
was that without meals or travel?
9, you're right, that was without meals. So it's $100 a month.
And how many of the board members get paid?
There's 9.
But how, I think you told me how many, maybe 4 or 6 get paid, receive that stipend?
I don't know if did I think,
Prior to being appointed when they were elected,
No.
did they get paid?
No,
I don't know that. I don't know that.
So,
Yeah.
I know that.
Well, I just want for the record, for anybody that's watching, that they are getting compensated as a stipend. Do you get compensated?
well,
You get paid a lot for this stuff, you know.
yeah.
Cup of water.
Okay.
Yeah, water and cookies, but when that is in our rules, we did change the rules. And that is something that, you know, we can go look up online about the compensation that they get. 21,000 divided by 9 people.
That not all of them receive it.
Right, I think it's something that they can choose if they, so choose to receive it. Because some people, you know, they're giving up, they have to pay for childcare, they have to pay for, and so forth, and they have to give up work hours. So they make that available, I believe. Now, I can't speak for Chariots because I don't know. That's just the model I have seen elsewhere. And if that is the model they're using, that's the one I understand. But I do not know what the Chariots model is. I will not claim to know that. Okay, thank you very much. What I'd like to do now, and thank you for your patience. I'm looking at the folks who've been waiting patiently through this process with our neighbors, and you see how we operate. So we'd like to do the same for you. So in no particular order, I'd like to start with Jen Benavides, and go to Kathy Lincoln, and wrap up with TJ Sullivan. You're the 3 I have signed up. So Jen goes first, then Kathy, then TJ. Okay? Would that work for you?
Well, I was gonna say TJ can come up because we were both at,
Okay, do you want to come up as a pair as,
come on up, TJ.
Come on up then.
Just because there might be multiple questions because we were both in,
okay.
at that meeting. That was, do you want?
I appreciate that.
Yeah, just for.
Okay. So, just we're going to have a seat. Take a breath, and just your name and city of residence.
Hi, I'm Jen Benavides, and I actually live in Rickreall, Oregon, but I work in Salem Kaiser, and I was born in Salem, and my family originates and actually lives in Kaiser still to this day. So I'm here, I've actually prepared a speech, but I do want to give a little, to hit on what Sarita was saying, businesses were brought to the Salem Chamber because Tom Hoffman, how do I say his last name? He stumbled across the fact that the Chariots were entitled to bring a payroll tax to the employers of Salem and Kaiser per Chariots. And so I'm grateful that he found that because I myself work for an employer that has 150 employees and is already suffering. And I work with a lot of businesses that really cannot afford another tax at this point. So I invite you to watch that. It's very enlightening. And it was brought to us on a silver platter of how well the Chariots are doing in our communities. Alan presented a very great PowerPoint, and then the board kind of sucker punched us with, oh, we're doing great, but now we get to throw this on the businesses. And so it wasn't warm and fuzzy or inviting. Maybe if they started at 1 or 2% versus going to a 7%, or at least an open conversation versus this is happening, deal with it kind of thing. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and get into my little speech because I could go off forever, but good evening, Mayor, Councilor, and community members. I'm here tonight to, as a lifelong Salem resident and a business leader who deeply values the roles a small business play in keeping our communities strong. I want to share why the proposed Chariots payroll tax is not just unnecessary, it is harmful to business owners, employees, and ultimately our local economy. First, let's talk about the need. Chariots currently has more than 40 million in reserves. When asked to explain the urgency of this new tax, they could not provide a clear total number of daily riders, nor a detailed justification beyond the fact that some people occasionally miss the bus. That is not a sound basis for imposing a new tax on hardworking employers. I say this as someone who grew up riding the bus here in the Salem area. It was 50 cents, by the way, when I rode it from South Salem to downtown Salem. If I missed it, that was on me. It was a learning moment about responsibility and time management. Missing a bus should not be used as an excuse to be imposed on financial burdens on every employer in the Salem-Keizer area. Second, let's consider impact. I work for a company that employs 150 people. Not once have I heard an employee say they missed the bus and therefore needed additional taxpayer support for transportation. What I have heard loud and clear are concerns from business owners about rising costs, wages, insurance, utilities, and compliance issues. Adding additional payroll tax on top of that is simply piling on at the most worst possible time for our small businesses that are already struggling. This isn't about being anti-transit. Reliable public transportation is important, but when an agency who already has tens of millions in reserves and cannot articulate a pressing, measurable need proposes a new payroll tax is not a good governance, is overreach in my opinion. I'm passionate about this, that's why I get shaky.
It's okay, take a breath, you're fine.
The truth is, small and mid-sized businesses are the backbones of this community. They provide the jobs, create the opportunity, and drive Salem-Keizer's economic growth. Burdening employers with another tax without a clear, transparent, and accountable reason is not the solution. I urge you to oppose the payroll tax. Instead, let's work together on solutions that support transportation while keeping Salem-Keizer a place where businesses can grow, thrive, and continue to employ our neighbors. Thank you for your time.
Thank you very much. Mr. Sullivan.
Good evening, TJ Sullivan. I reside in the city of Salem. Let me just say, as a recovering city councilor, I found I got a fix tonight for the stormwater discussion. So thank you for that. It was very satisfying. I will say that about 15 years ago, a group of community leaders came together with the idea that we wanted to make Salem-Keizer together the healthiest community in Oregon. And to do that, we were going to readily deploy our resources into the nonprofits in our area, which then State Representative Brian Johnston said made up the social fabric of our communities. And I am pleased to say that we have a robust network of nonprofits in our area that are sustained by our business community. And so when Chariots recommends taking $39 million out of our business community, don't think that's not going to have an impact on the nonprofits in our area. In fact, I was sitting in a Liberty House board meeting and we were talking about fundraising when I dropped that little nugget that the business community was going to be forking over $39 million to Chariots. And you could have heard a pin drop because everybody in that boardroom recognized that at a time when we're losing state funding, that our business community, which has been supporting our nonprofits, is not going to be able to be there to support Liberty House through this process because of the money being taken out of it by Chariots. So you, as a legislative body, have an opportunity to tell Chariots that now is not the time and to discourage them as a body from going forward with this. Yes, they are able to do this, but now is not the right time. I don't know when the right time will be, but the business community will and should have a say of how they want to support this entity inside of our community. With that, I'm open for any questions.
I'd like to lead off with one, and again, I haven't heard the audio, so thank you for that summary. Was there any discussion in the Chariots presentation about the transportation package, the focused one that is coming to the special session at the legislature on the 29th? Because that includes a 0.1% payroll tax. So is this in addition to, is that,
Yes.
and again, I'm asking you to speak for another agency and that's really not fair, but
I
you
don't
were there and it
recall
wasn't.
discussion, there was not discussion of what was going on at legislation currently. This was just,
Okay.
Duran, do you have something? Were you there? They say something? Yeah, but did they say something? Okay. I might have not heard it.
The discussion was, you know, if you guys get your payroll tax that's currently there doubled, by the way, I helped lobby for that under great duress from then Senator Peter Courtney, who applied a lot of pressure as only a crazed individual could in this situation. But we did advocate for a side payroll tax to help support transit, which has resulted in the amount of dollars that Chariots has been able to bank. So I should say that I'm not anti-transit. In fact, having lobbied for them, I feel like I can adequately say, like, there is a time and a need, and now is not the time, and they haven't demonstrated the need.
So I've got one more follow-up, and then I'm going to go down the line for folks who have additional questions. And again, I'm trying to put you on the spot for, with another agency, so maybe I better shift my questions to you as business owners. And TJ, thank you for your comment about, you understand that transit is a critical part of our transportation environment in a metro area as large as being the second largest metro area in the state of Oregon. So I appreciate that very much. I guess that understanding that in I think it was 2017 when House Bill or Senate Bill 1536 passed, the Salem Chamber supported it and said, yes, this change needs to happen. And that was what I understood, what I read in an article earlier today to refresh my memory. That's been a few years. So they supported that, understanding that the ability to impose a payroll tax after January 1, 2026 was on the table. We're just there now. So is what I'm hearing from both of you is that we understand they can, now is not the time to do so. Is that the primary message that?
I will add that what we supported, I was reminded, because I also could not remember, I was reminded by Jim Bauer, who was with me in some of the meetings with Peter Courtney, that the addition of the ability to tax came after we gave our support. Our support was in exchange for the change to the board from a vote to a governor nominated, with the understanding that they would be looking to add business people to the board so that we could help with growing the ridership of Chariots. The numbers have expanded under the ridership after they offered free rides to students.
Mm-hmm. I think we had the Betsy program. I'm not going to go get, that's a squirrel moment. Okay, no, that really helps me
I'd
out.
like to say, if we could look at that, I would advise to look at that, what that actually stipulated, because I've also heard that it was, if they were having issues, this would be brought to the table, and they're not having financial issues at this time.
Okay.
And that was part of the stipulation during those conversations as well.
Okay.
So they'd have business people on the board that own business, so they could speak on behalf of the businesses that would be paying this tax, as well as that they were in dire need essentially for this tax.
And as somebody who's no longer a city councilor, I can say whatever I want to. And I will say that there is, in this community, there is a definite belief there are two different ideologies on nonprofits. One ideology is that nonprofits are getting in the way of the government, that it's the government's role, job to take care of everybody, and nonprofits are taking away from that we don't need nonprofits, and that the government is there to take care of people, not nonprofits. There's another ideology that says that nonprofits in this community operate in a space more effectively and more efficiently than government could, and they are to be supported and encouraged. And between those two ideologies, I find myself firmly in the camp of the latter, and I think that most of you do too. And you don't want to have the responsibilities of Liberty House or Family Building Blocks or Boys and Girls Club foisted upon the governments, because you don't have the resources to take care of all the things that those nonprofits do. So we need to be cognizant of that as leaders and say, no, we want to make sure that our nonprofits are healthy financially. And so this is not the time.
I'm going to open it up for questions, and Councilor Cross, can I go ahead and start with Councilor Duran and kind of come this way? Councilor Duran, because you were there at that meeting as well.
Yes, I was there, and the question was asked, and I don't remember exactly which one of the directors answered the question, but I think it was Sarah Duncan. But about what would happen if the 0.1 tax, or payroll tax increase, and that's a employee paid. That's on that side now. It's a 0.1, and they're proposing, the legislatures are proposing to make 0.2, double it. What would happen if that, well, they said, well, the piece of the pie that we get of that is so small that we did not include that in our, in the assumptions of needing this 0.7. But at the same time, they said, but we didn't do the maximum. We could have taken 0.8, but we're just going to do 0.7. So their thinking is that they're giving us a break by doing 0.7 instead of 0.8 when they could really do 0.8. When other people had suggested, why don't you just start at like 0.3? And they said, well, we really need this because that's what Lane County's doing and that's what Metro does. So we feel we should be in line with them. So that was their explanation on why they're going for this money right now. So it was a very frustrating meeting to be involved in and listen to their excuses on this. They want to expand. I mean, they're going to double, almost triple what they're spending.
What are they going to do with it, Kyle?
New transit centers in East Salem and South Salem. And if you go, they've got a whole thing online of what their projections of what they're going to do with this money over the next 4 years. They're planning on bringing their maintenance facilities and their office facilities all together in one place in a brand new facility. New buses, they've got a big plan for this, and they still only have 3 million rides. That's not three, it's like 3.1 million. That's not riders, that's trips, and they count a trip as from one segment to the next. So if they change buses, that's a new trip. And their budget's gonna be like 154 million proposed next year, and they have 3.1 million rides. That's almost $50 a ride. So that's where I'm, I've gone through this and looked at what they're doing, and they expect to see more riders because they're gonna go from, right now they have 15-minute, half-hour, and 60-minute bus schedules. They're planning on bringing everything up to almost everything up to 15-minute bus schedules. So they're gonna need more buses, they're gonna increase their bus schedule, but they expect to see more ridership in that.
Okay. So I want to make sure we don't go into deliberation. So if we have questions for Jen and TJ, that would be helpful. And then we'll bring up Ms. Lincoln, who is a former board member, if I remember correctly, from Chariots. So be able to hear from her as well. And then we can talk about a motion or so forth and do deliberation. So just want to make sure we're staying in our process,
Yeah,
okay?
I was just trying to fill in what
But I was
what they didn't
I
say.
asked you the question specifically because you were there, so that was helpful, but I want to make sure we honor our side rails.
I just have one question. So in addition to this, is there action on behalf of the Salem Chamber of Commerce now to roll this back, now that they realize that was a shell game, and that everything that you talked with Senator Courtney about, it didn't include this component of it? Is there action to take it back to elected positions? Because these folks don't represent us.
Right, I think we'd like to start with having the discussion with Chariots. We feel like we've been good partners with them. After that bloody defeat of the ballot measure previously, we came back with the opportunity to help them up and to create the statewide payroll tax to help them. That was, we felt like was something that, was honorable, and they turned around and as soon as they could hit us back when we were down.
No good deed. My next question is, so the folks that are on the board, how, and they're collecting money, how is that not a conflict of interest? How can they impose a tax? I mean, we have, this person right here is not taking part in this discussion because there's a potential conflict of interest in her current position. How are they even able to vote on that?
I don't know that their compensation is, I guess, significant enough to qualify as a conflict of
I
interest.
don't think it has to be a certain amount. All right, thanks.
Thank you very much. Counselor Cross?
Well, thank you for TG and Jennifer being here. I know when I work with all the different nonprofit events that were there, you can see both of your logos. How much will, TJ, will that affect what you're giving to nonprofits and cost your company? Have you
Well,
figured that out?
Mrs. Sullivan will tell you that it's going to be a dollar for dollar,
Reduction.
reduction. Mr. Sullivan, has a big bleeding heart and will figure a way to, take it out of the kids' savings accounts without them noticing.
And follow up, I think it is broken down to that like $490 or $500 an employee, is that right?
Yeah, that's good.
So multiply 500, what, times 150?
Yes, and I'd like to add that it's not just, it's individuals too that own businesses, that it's across the board. I mean, it's Salem Hospital. I mean, it's from the smallest person to the biggest person. There's nobody that is excluded from this. For us, we'll pull back quite a bit. We'll continue to pull back because it's just becoming harder and harder. So, and I
Yeah.
know that, and I think that's a lot of businesses.
I mean, I think for most businesses, they'll start by cutting back on what they give to nonprofits. And then the second thing they're going to cut back on are going to be things like employee bonuses, the
Employee
perks.
culture,
employee perks, yeah.
our culture, our parties that we have together, those types of things will go to the wayside. So,
Thank you.
you're welcome.
Counselor Kohler, questions for these folks?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I think that most of my questions have already been asked and answered, but one of the things that I reviewed from the testimony that Mr. Thompson, Jonathan Thompson submitted was that it was going to cost his business about $4,000 a year. That's pretty significant.
Counselor Parsons, do you have any questions?
Yes, thank you, Madam Mayor. I have one question. Excuse me. On here, it says it would cost an estimated $403 per employee, whatever, per year. So my question to you is, are you going to put that back on the employee? I mean, you're paying for it, so now the employee pays for it? Or no?
I don't think you can do that.
You can't do that?
No.
Okay. Well, it doesn't say, so I didn't know.
Yeah, that's a fair question. I guess it would only come back on the employee in the event of like loss of bonuses or other employee perks that might be,
Yeah, that sucks too.
A thriving business where they could engage with their employees and make it a good company culture, or it be community members by supporting our nonprofits. Those types of things will go.
So if you have 150 employees and they have to pay $400, that's a lot of money.
It's a ton of money. It makes you really think about doing business in the Salem Kaiser area, for sure.
Okay, thank you.
On top of everything else. I mean, I think we're already at, was it 10% for the city of Salem payroll tax? And now you're gonna add on another possible 8 or 9.
0.8, 0.9, yeah.
Correct.
It's under.
I don't
under one,
feel
but yeah.
like small business or business is thought about. I think that they're looked at as, oh, they have money. And so I don't think they're thinking about, these are people with dreams that are supporting our economy and families and kids and the next future. And I feel like small business is constantly taking the sucker punch.
And
For cities.
just take your own personal budget, and if somebody said, okay, now you gotta write a check to Chariot for $4,000 this year, where are you gonna cut? And what does that do to your nightly sleep by having to figure out where $4,000 is gonna come from?
No, I really appreciate you answering questions and so forth. I'm going to go ahead and bring up, do we have one more question? Just one more?
Just one more.
Just one more.
Just one more.
I want to go ahead and get to Ms. Lincoln.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. One of the questions that I had, I'm not sure of, is would the city, are we exempt from having to pay that tax, or is that something the city would have to pay also?
I'm going to
You'd be
go to Mr.
exempt.
Brown, I think, on that one, if it's okay with you guys.
From my reading on the reporting done on it, is that local governments, nonprofits, and a couple other exemptions would apply, the thought being that if you tax your government, then you're going to be double, it'll just end up back on your citizens. So that's my research on that, so.
Well,
Okay.
Adam, and I
Mr.
can say,
Lindsay?
one of the issues is we fall under a category now because we are the second largest in the state, where a mass transit system is, considered in the Salem area. And therefore, I think in those situations, I think cities no longer become exempt.
What?
Yeah, I think there's a phase-in. I think they have to give you 6 months, and then I think it goes from like 20 to 40 to 60 to 80. I was trying to look at that too because,
So we're, so the
Let him
city,
finish.
the city of Kaiser is not exempt?
from my reading, because I was looking at it today
Welcome
too,
to how
because
we feel, Lori.
we're all trying to learn. I don't think we are. But again, we'll all be learning this even more together as we discover what we want to say as a council.
Well, and, kind of to bring this around, and thank you both very much. That's why I was asking, have we seen any language? Because I haven't seen anything yet. I hear what,
I've seen enough.
well, have you seen something that the Chariots Board has authorized to have a discussion about?
Has there been anything?
Has there been anything in writing?
I believe that part of their proposal is to exempt government entities.
It's in writing.
So it's specific, so it may be
But you have nothing in writing right now. This is all proposed to go to the board.
correct.
Okay, so this has been discussed, and it was in a slideshow to bring out to the community, which we were not invited to as a city, but, okay.
We have encouraged them strongly to get out to their community partners, so that would include the city of Kaiser, which is
Right.
why we're here to say it's a good opportunity to discourage them from moving forward.
Okay, and, to his credit, Mr. Pollock has asked for the opportunity to talk to us. Any further questions for these two? All right, thank you so much, I appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Ms. Lincoln?
The seat's still warm for me.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mayor Clark, City Council. I'm Kathy Lincoln. And I want to, first of all, regarding this issue, urge you to invite Alan Pollock here to hear what's going on, because a lot of stuff been thrown out here today. I hear a lot of it that is inconsistent with what I understand about this measure and what I have heard and what I have read, and the numbers don't really jive. So I think we're working in a vacuum here, trying to figure out what, before you make any decisions or decide on your position, I really urge you to get the facts from Executive Director of the Transit District. Because first of all, it's not a 7% tax, it's a 0.7, it's 0.7%. And that's allowed in the legislation that was adopted. So that's where that number comes from, up to 8% in the legislation. And Eugene has a 0.8% tax, and Portland has a little bit higher one. And they have a very vibrant city, with lots of businesses, lots of small businesses. It doesn't hurt businesses. The thing that a good transit system does is support businesses with transportation for employees and customers. And, I would like, in fact, I'd urge you, before you make any decisions on this, to let us know if you've ever ridden the bus, especially recently with the new fare schedules and ways to pay your fare and nicer, cleaner, quieter buses. Chariots has the cleanest transit system in Oregon. Lots of electric buses, lots of natural gas buses. The drivers are courteous, they're knowledgeable, they're helpful. A lot of your neighbors, your employees, your customers, your friends, your kids ride the bus. Families with 2 or 3 jobs, maybe the kids working too, they need 3 cars if they don't have adequate transportation. Cost of buying a car, repair, maintenance, insurance really takes a whack out of a minimum wage job payment. So people need good transportation. And that's what the Chariot's proposal is, to provide more frequent transportation, to extend their service. Salem and Kaiser is growing. Last time I was out south, I didn't recognize it. What the heck is going on way out south in Salem? I mean, acres and acres of houses. Now, all of those people get in their cars, or their 2 cars, or their 3 cars, and drive into town and clog up the roads and fill up the parking lots, and all of that costs taxpayer money to maintain too. So there's a cost savings in putting most of those people, or a lot of those people, into buses rather than single occupancy vehicles. And then, of course, the more people out of their cars and in the buses, the less congestion there is, and less congestion, the less emissions, and the healthier we all are. So I don't think the stuff, that what I've heard from the transit district about their plans for the future don't sound like they want the fanciest transit center in the state. They do need a transit center in South Salem because they would need cars that go, or trips that go east and west, especially out to the new industrial center. So something around the Walmart or the Walmart out there that would get people who come from north to go east, and coming from the west to go east, is really important. That would take a lot of traffic off of Kubler especially. And River Road, all the development that's going on in River Road and Kaiser, all of those people are gonna be climbing in their cars and driving into Salem. And if we have adequate transit every 15 minutes, a lot of those cars will be off the road. And of course, the kids go for free, and they use the buses all the time, go to jobs, go to school, go downtown to meet friends. I'd like you to keep in mind that people in a big city need transportation, and we need adequate transportation, and that's what this payroll tax will provide. But I really hope that you have Alan in here to let you know what the details are and what their plans are, because I think it's not nearly as catastrophic as it sounds like, as you make it sound like. Oh, and I know that you'll probably have the chamber bending your ear on this, but I want you to remember that you represent all the people in Kaiser, not just the Chamber of Commerce and the business owners. All of your constituents could benefit from this, so thank you.
Thank you. Questions for Ms. Lincoln? I really appreciate you coming and sharing. Appreciate that. Is there anyone else who would like to address the council on this issue? Okay. With that, so the question before us is whether we want to take a position tonight, if we want to invite Mr. Pollack. Those are not mutually exclusive. And if we take a position, how is that framed and what would be included? I'm going to go to Councilor Cross first, and I saw your hand.
Can I make a motion?
Of course you can.
Okay, I move that the Kaiser City Council take a public position in opposition of the proposed Chariots payroll tax.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded, which is that one of the proposals here? Okay, let me get to that link. Sorry. I'm on the wrong page. Thank you. Okay, it's been moved and seconded that the Kaiser City Council take a public position in opposition of the proposed Chariots payroll tax. Discussion? Councilor Christopher?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I'll be voting in favor of this. There's no one in this room that doesn't know how I stand on taxes, and I believe taxes, when you're implementing taxes, when you're raising taxes, they come with a vote. And this is a situation where, as TJ explained to us, they didn't exactly get what they thought they were getting. When they agreed to have the board appointed by the governor in hopes of getting business people on there to try to increase the ridership of Chariots, what in fact they got was additional taxes and placed an additional burden on the businesses that employ the folks that live in our city. And I, for one, do not feel, there's no way I would ever support that position, ever. So I'll be voting in favor.
Thank you. Any other comments? Councilor Kohler? Oh, sorry. Okay.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. the agenda was put out, Chariots knew that this was on the agenda. Why aren't they here if they felt like they had a good leg to stand on?
I'll have to follow up on that, though. Were they invited or notified that this was going on the agenda?
Well,
I'm asking Mr. Brown. Thank you.
Madam Mayor and Council, I talked to Mr. Pollack on Friday afternoon. We were at a meeting and I gave them a heads up that it would be discussed tonight.
Okay.
And so the email I received from him was right middle of the day today that asked if to offer to come and speak before council or request to come to speak before council.
Thank you. Okay, Councilor Cross.
Thank you for your work on this, Mr. Brown. I appreciate it. I, again, love Alan Pollock. I see him, I give him a hug. Props to him, like, woo-hoo, running in the black these days. You go get him. But now is not the time to burden people, in my opinion. So I'll be voting yes on this motion.
Thank you. Councilor Parsons, anything?
No, I just look at the $40 million in the bank and wonder why they need it now.
Councilor Ann?
No, I feel the same way.
Okay. So, you know, I asked a lot of questions tonight because I don't know the facts behind the, and thank you, I'm not distrusting what I heard tonight, the entire story, but I'm in favor of this motion because I don't know the answer to what's going to happen with the legislature. That's another 0.1, and that's a significant amount, and I don't have the numbers on what that does for the different transit agencies' budget around the state. I've read some of the legislation, and again, this really came on quick with the transportation package for the special session. And my yes vote to oppose it is to say, can we find out what happens with this first before you jump into putting out a payroll tax? Get the numbers, do the math, make sure that what you're asking for is actually what you need. And I'm not getting that, but I do want to really open the door for conversation with our colleagues on the Salem-Keizer Transit Board. They are the duly appointed, I know they're not elected, but they're appointed to run a government that covers the people of the Salem-Keizer area, and I want to have that conversation. But I will support this tonight because I think we really need to make sure you do the math, ask for what you need for, and make the case about how are you going to use those funds. So we support a really high-functioning, responsive transit service as part of our transportation environment for everybody in the community. So that's where I'm coming down on it. Anything further? All in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, signify by saying no. Abstentions, that would be Council President Starr. The motion passes.
So who's going to draft?
So, Mr. Brown, do you have enough to go on to draft the letter for us, or, and then work with, Councilor Cross, would you work, since you brought this,
Great.
this issue to the table, would you work with Mr. Brown on it?
Yes, and I will say also that the.
Microphone.
Yes. Oops, am I not on? Sorry. I will say again, Mr. Brown, thank you again for your hard work. And Tom Hoffer, the executive director for the Keizer Chamber, will be at the Government Affairs Committee this week at the Keizer office.
On Thursday
Right.
morning,
On Thursday
Yeah.
morning.
At 7.
Doing another
7:30.
presentation.
Right.
I will not be there.
Well, and I've signed up to go, but Mr. Hoffer represents the Salem Chamber, and I would like to have a conversation with Mr. Pollack, who actually represents the government agency that has, that is doing this. So I think that would be a very constructive conversation. That would be my preference, to have that conversation directly. So with that,
And Madam Mayor,
Mr.
before
Brown.
we wrap up that one, you would want this to go to the governing body of the Chariots?
yes, please.
And/or any other governing bodies to share that with?
I think that we, I think I like Councilor Duran's idea of carbon copy, City of Salem. And the the two chamber, both
Delegations,
chamber
delegation.
and our legislative delegation.
Okay.
Anybody else we missed?
I think you ought to send it to the Kaiser Times.
Yes, yeah,
And the Salem Reporter and the Statesman Journal.
I agree,
Yeah.
all of them.
and it will, yeah, it'll be published, so, yeah. Okay,
Get it out, so we can get it out.
okay. And I think it's important to make the statement. I'm not sure I understand the get it out, the second part of yours.
The second
comment?
part is so that we can get it out of consideration at this time, right now, when we've got so many unknowns.
Thank
We have
you.
Such a tumultuous economy.
Microphone.
We have such a tumultuous economy. We've got businesses, more businesses are failing than are succeeding. So is now the time to expand services? I find that to be a tone deaf at that's the kindest thing I can say.
Okay.
Is that is a tone deaf posture for transit to take when you've got so much unrest within this state, within this country, to choose now to go after these businesses for $39 million to expand a business, a government business.
Well, and I wanted to understand the get it out to get it out and what you were referring to specifically. So thank you for clarifying. Appreciate that. All right, we are going to go back up the agenda to 9A. Okay? And that is administrative action. Welcome back. 9A, resolution authorizing the city manager to terminate 457 Pren B plans with Nationwide and Corbridge. Mr. Brown.
Thank you, Madam Mayor and Council. Our Human Resources Director, Garrett Cleaver, will be covering this item, and I just want to say kudos to him for looking into this. This is actually, will benefit our employees a great deal, so, but I'll let him carry the tune, but this was his initiative.
All right. Well, that's a great start. Mr. Cleaver.
All right, Mayor, City Council. So the item before you kind of touches on some history back to 1998, 2006, when this then City Council authorized the city manager to add some new deferred compensation retirement plans. That's the Nationwide and Corbridge. And the ask tonight is to basically undo that. And the reason being really comes down to cost. So currently, the city has 3 retirement plans for its employees. And I do want to underscore that the city doesn't pay anything. It's the employees and retirees who pay these fees to these plans to administer their retirement funds. And in researching some of the options, looking at the Nationwide and Corbridge plans, they have relatively high fees. And I think that's a big part why we don't see a lot of participation there. Really just a handful of employees that participate in those plans. And with the termination of these plans, what this means procedurally for these folks is it is a city plan, so they can't keep their money in there. So that means working with the current vendor to bring that money in. And it's a numbers game for these companies, right? So more participants, more money means they can charge fewer fees. And the savings are significant. I cannot stress how much money this could save for the employees and retirees for the city. And we did reach out via email and letter to anybody who might be impacted. I spoke to retirees and employees personally and heard anything from, okay, just kind of tell me what I need to do, to people, once they heard how much they were paying, want to say, okay, go do it now. So really no opposition. And I think we've done a good job communicating out what the potential impacts would be and what options our employees and retirees would have. So with that, happy to answer any questions.
All right.
Let me just
Mr. Brown?
add to that. So the impetus here is that Mission Square, which is where predominantly our employees hold their 457 plans. And 457 plan is to government or to local government employees what a 401k is to business employees. So, but Mission Square would reduce their fee structure down to 0.2 percentage points versus some of these other ones are over 1%. So 0.2%, they would go down. And, Garrett's done some math and and over a course of a career, that could be $100,000 difference in what's in your 457 account over there. So it's a very significant savings. I applaud him for taking this on and hope you'll support the action.
And I would add, and this is an HR person doing math here, but just on a year-to-year basis, employees and retirees can see upwards of $100,000 a year savings with those fee reductions. It's about a 75% reduction in the fees our people pay to these retirement plans.
Okay. Any questions? How fast we can do it?
I have a question.
Okay,
Did you take-
Counselor Christopher?
Did you take this on yourself, or?
I will say that this conversation, I think, has been started and kind of restarted in the city for maybe 10 years, to the point, we had discussed and researched, do we do an RFP? But basically with the goal of how do we create some efficiencies and reduce some costs for our employees? And again, I think that's why we've seen kind of a natural progression away from some of the higher fee plans, retirement plans, to Mission Square, which is just lower fees, just much cheaper.
I mean, good job. Good job. Super significant to your fellow workers, and great job.
All right. Any other questions, comments? Counselor Kohler?
Just one quick one. When we talk about numbers, I always want to ask Mr. Wood, is this something that you believe in and would 100% support?
I mean, come on.
Absolutely. Garrett's done an excellent job on this.
Perfect.
Good. Council President Starr, would you please put the motion on the table?
Sure thing. I move the Kaiser City Council adopt resolution R2025 authorizing the city manager to terminate 457B plans with Nationwide and Corebridge.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that the Kaiser City Council adopt resolution R 2025 authorizing the city manager to terminate 457 Prens B plans by Nationwide and Corebridge. Any discussion? Aside from well done? All in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, signify by saying no. Motion passes unanimously. Okay, this takes us to item 9B, resolution authorizing city manager to enter into agreement for electronic records management services with Secretary of State. And then, there's a partner resolution here, so we're doing both of them at the same time. Resolution, authorizing city manager to enter into subscription services contract with, Chavez, Consulting Inc., Master Software Agreement, Electronic Records. City manager?
Thank you, Madam Mayor and Council. Ms. Bissett's going to handle this one. Again, this one is where these department heads have come in with their experience and own ideas and gone out, and this is going to put us in a better position for our public records. So with that preface, I'll pass the baton to her.
Mayor, City Councilors, I'm excited to share an important step forward for our records management program, one that will help us better serve our community, our staff, and anyone who needs to access city records. As part of our commitment to transparency, security, and efficiency, we would like to transition to a new electronic records management system. This will mean better access, security, and compliance. More of our city records will be available to both staff and the public, enhancing our accessibility to public records. Our records will be protected with enhanced safeguards, and we will meet record retention requirements under our public records laws and ensure that we are keeping, managing, and preserving records in the right way. To make this happen, we'd like to partner with the Oregon Secretary of State Archives Division through an intergovernmental agreement and with Oregon Records Management Solution known as ORMS under a statewide price agreement. The Secretary of State will provide their consulting services to us at no cost through the IGA. The only ongoing cost to the city will be $388 per month for our ORMS subscription, which is included in the approved budget for this year. This will mark a big leap forward for how we preserve our city's history, managing our official records, and giving public access to information.
Nice.
Staff recommendation tonight is that council adopt our resolutions so that we can move forward. We're truly excited about this change, and we're hoping that it makes a lasting difference in how we manage and protect our city's records.
Fantastic. Questions for Ms. Bissett?
Yeah, nice job.
Teamwork. Council President Starr, would you put the motions on the table?
I move the Kaiser City Council adopt resolution R2025, authorizing the city manager to enter into an agreement for electronic records management services with the Oregon Secretary of State.
And
Well,
do we have to do them separate or one?
We don't have to.
You don't have to if you know that one follows the other. This is a case where you have a deal with the state and then the state works with this other company. So it really is sort of one decision. Although if you were inclined to not like that particular group and you were going to have a different vote, then I would do them separately.
Okay.
Second.
And resolution.
It's been moved and seconded that the Kaiser City Council adopt Resolution R 2025, authorizing the city manager to enter into agreement for electronics records management services with Oregon Secretary of State. Discussion? All in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, signify by saying no. Motion passes unanimously. Council President Starr?
I move the Kaiser City Council adopt resolution R2025, authorizing the city manager to enter into subscription services contract with Chavez Consulting, Inc., master software agreement for electronic records.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that the Kaiser City Council adopt Resolution R 2025, authorizing the city manager to enter into subscription services contract with Chavez Consulting, Inc., master software agreement electronic records. Any discussion? All in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, signify by saying no. Motion passes unanimously. Let's go to item 9D, participation in the county street vendor ordinance discussion. City Manager?
Thank you again, Madam Mayor and Council. This item came from us from the Marion County Commissioners in August, or in July, I'm sorry. They asked us for comment on this street vendor ordinance that they had prepared. We looked it over, staff. We didn't have any much to comment on it because the City of Kaiser's ordinance for street vendors is more strict than this ordinance. But their intent is to regulate what happens in the rights of way throughout all of Marion County. The City of Kaiser disallows street vendors except for in parades where you exempt it for those singular events, or by permit in Kaiser Rapids Park. I think we have a option there. The Marion County, though, invited all the cities adopt this ordinance or opt in to this county ordinance, which would create a permit that they would have to get through the Marion County. It would, they have offered that the sheriff could also enforce it if as well as our officers could, but they've offered to have the sheriff enforce it if the city chose to opt into it. But basically the ordinance regulates operation within 50 feet of the right of way. And so wanted to put it before you because they asked us to take it to our governing bodies for consideration. Opting into this would perhaps allow street vendors where we don't allow them right now. So
Okay.
it's in front of you for your consideration. Mr. Lindsay, both of us have reviewed it, so we probably could answer questions together. And feel free to correct me too, Joe.
I do now. Mr. Lindsay?
I could potentially add a little bit to this too, which is, yeah, we currently don't allow street vending on our public rights of ways, or at our public parks with those few exceptions. And this creates a buffer, I guess, you have to be even 50 feet away from the right of way. This is what the county wanted. And the reason I think the county wanted a permit regime is because, quite frankly, if you're just operating in the right of way vending and there's no permit scheme going on, then you say, beat it or I'll write you a ticket, right? And then you write a ticket and then they may or may not show up to court. And I think the idea here is if you because you still have to kind of prove that what was happening, right? Whereas it's sort of a prima facie case, if you don't have your permit, then it allows, in the enforcement of it, for a Marion County sheriff to basically say, since you don't have a permit, I'm going to grab your stuff, and then you have to come and have a hearing within a week. So if you read down into it, it sort of seems like a way to kind of grab the stuff really fast and not wait for somebody to go to court to prove it a month or 2 months later. So I think what they were trying to do is kind of create a mechanism where if you don't have a permit, then they can actually confiscate your stuff a little faster. And so I think that was part of it. But currently, right now, we don't allow it. So it is asking you guys to say, okay, allow it, but then allow for more grabbing of stuff. So that may be a bigger hassle than you want.
And
Yeah.
just to, I know we want to be good partners with the county, and their intentions are well. So there's probably still an opportunity to say that we support what they're doing. In our city, it's probably not going to make any difference. So, but you could express support for what they're doing throughout the county if you wanted to.
So to put it in non-lawyer, if we said yes, we would actually be asking the Marion County Sheriff's deputies to have some jurisdiction in the city around street vendors, and we would be asking Marion County to set up a process for issuing permits that don't go through the city. Is that correct? Okay, I got the answer to my question. Anybody else?
Mayor, that's
Mr. Brown?
That's correct, but I do think their intentions were well in offering
Of course,
to provide
yeah.
enforcement.
But-
For us, they're not necessarily demanding that they do it, but so.
What did you just say?
They were offering that if we opted into this, that they would be willing to help enforce it
If we
with their
needed it.
own sheriff's deputies if they need it. So it was in good intention that they put that offer out there.
But for a problem we have not had to date. Counselor Duran?
Yeah, I think this to me sounds like it's a good solution for maybe communities that don't have the rules that we have.
Yeah.
So we already have rules that are above and beyond this. So opting in just sounds like it would be a conflict of who's on first,
Yeah.
whose rules come in first. So I think it's a great, thing for the Santiam Canyon, for the communities that maybe don't have regulation up there, or their cities don't quite have the same capabilities we do for enforcement. So I think it's great for that stuff, those communities. But I think for us, this is we should just kind of stay out of this and say we like our rules.
Yeah. Thank you. Counselor Christopher?
So if we opt in, their rules would supersede our rules.
When it comes to the county versus us, we have a home rule charter, so we could say our rules still supersede, but it makes it weird if Marion County's handing out a permit
Okay.
to have something that is disallowed here anyway.
Okay.
Yeah. Is there anyone who wants to put the motion on the table to move this forward?
If we don't move it forward,
We're done.
we're
Okay.
done.
All right. I'm seeing no interest in putting the motion on the table. Mr. Brown, would you please express to the commissioners, we appreciate the opportunity and that we will, we support their efforts to support communities that need this assistance.
I will pass that on.
Thank you. All right. That concludes administrative action. Other business, this time is provided to allow the mayor, city manager, city council members or staff an opportunity to bring new or old matters before the council and not on tonight's agenda. Mr. Brown, does staff have any additional, any other business for this evening?
I want to say that we talked about something you were gonna.
Yeah. Oh, I'm going to be asking about the,
Okay.
who wants,
All right.
who's going to be at the EO reception on Monday night.
Great. So, yeah, I'll make that under announcement.
Yes.
So, we have no business.
Okay. I do have one that I'd like to, and there's time. I'm going to be out of the area on September 15th, and I would like to put on the next agenda for permission to Zoom in for the September 15th City Council meeting. I will, because of the time of my travel, I'll issue a letter that will authorize Council President Starr to sign the actions of that particular council meeting. So anyway, if there's no objection, I'd like to put that on the next agenda. And the other one, I would like to ask council to go ahead and put on the next agenda is for regarding the Detroit Extreme Drawdown. You've been reading about this issue all over the place. There is effort by the City of Detroit and the Detroit Lake Foundation working in collaboration with Marion County, all of the cities up and down the canyon to support a letter that is asking for a reversal on this decision to do an extreme drawdown. And with the council's permission, I'd like to provide that letter that the Detroit is providing and put it on the next agenda for our consideration to sign on.
Oh, just for consideration? Yes.
Yeah, I'm asking him to put it on for consideration. I'm not asking for permission to sign it now. I want you to see the letter.
Great.
But I have to bring it to you so I can put it in the packet, right, Mr. Lindsay? So with that, yeah, I do have the letter that's been asked that we sign on with the other jurisdictions. So with your permission, we can put that on the next agenda.
Sure.
Okay. So those are the other business I have. Anything else before we go to, and I know we're at 9 o'clock, just really run through a couple of things real quick relative to EO next week. Any objection to finish up that conversation? Okay. Councilor Kohler.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I will not be able to be here on the first council meeting of September and seek permission to Zoom in.
Okay. So we'll need to suspend the rules, take up the matter of Councilor Kohler's request to attend the September 2nd council meeting by Zoom.
Move to suspend the rules.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to suspend the rules to take up the matter. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, signify by saying no.
Do we have to do it for you too?
Motion passes unanimously.
Next time.
Oh, the next.
I just said, because I didn't realize there was gonna be another one.
Okay,
We could do both at the same time if we so chose.
let's do it.
All
Let's
right.
get them done.
So,
Move to suspend.
yeah, we'll move to suspend the rules, take up the matter of both requests for zooming into the meeting.
Move to suspend.
Second.
Okay, moved and seconded to suspend the rules, take up the matter of both Councilor Kohler and myself zooming in. Okay, do you want to zoom in? Okay, we're up to 3. Do I have 4?
Which one are you zooming in on?
September 15th.
I won't be here September 15th either.
You're kidding.
No,
Uh-oh.
I'm gonna be flying high in the skies. I don't even think I can zoom in.
Okay, so we
Okay,
don't have
wait
to
a
worry
minute.
about you zooming,
No.
except zooming.
That's
So we'll
Okay.
just have- But we'll have quorum.
But that's zooming in, well, but no problem with
Okay,
quorum.
okay.
Okay, September 15th is gonna be a problematic little day, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
Okay, let's get this done. All in favor of suspending the rules, to take up this matter, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed signify by saying no. Motion passes unanimously. Okay, let's start with the second. Okay, September 2nd would be for Councilor
Kohler.
Kohler. Anybody else on September 2nd? Okay, September 15th, Councilor Parsons is going to be absent. Councilor Cross would like to zoom in. I would like to zoom in, and I'll have a much better connection this time.
Thank
Because I know not to use this.
Okay.
It's terrible.
Seriously?
Are you serious?
Are you serious?
Then we got a problem.
Okay, I'll stop. Because if we don't get a connection for some reason, we're going to be having some quorum issues. Okay, I'm going to break this into 2 parts. Let's deal with Councilor Kohler on the 2nd first. All in favor of Councilor Kohler zooming in on September 2nd, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, signify by saying no. Motion passes unanimously. All right, who's going to be here physically on the 15th? We have 3. So we will need one or the both of us to zoom in to achieve
We need
quorum.
Cross or Clark to get a quorum.
Yeah. So,
Are you gonna Zoom?
I'm going to.
okay. So with that,
That was good.
Yeah, and I know where I'm gonna be, we'll have a good connection, and I will, for future reference, do it on my phone, because Chromebook
Good,
and,
good, good, good.
I love you, Chromebook, but you are really terrible at Zoom, so.
Okay, so let's vote on it.
Okay, so we'll get permission for Counselor Cross and for myself to zoom in on September 15th. All in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, signify by saying no. Motion passes unanimously. Real quick, if I could,
Don't we need to move to extend?
well, yeah, because I want to ask about EO.
I move to extend the meeting until 9:15 max.
Second.
Okay, moved and seconded to extend the meeting till 9:15. All in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, signify by saying no. Motion passes unanimously. What Mr. Brown was referring to is, next Monday night, we will have the, formal reception down at the Salem Convention Center. It's about 3 hours.
Oh,
Yeah. This is not an in and out. This is the presentations by the students. This is music. It's about a 2 to 3 hour, evening. It's lovely, and anybody who is going to be there, Mr. Brown needs to know very, very quickly, because they have to put the food order in for the, for that event, and it's being put on by the city of EO. So please let Mr. Brown know, okay? I will be there for sure. Real quick on staff reports, anything that we need to know about staff? Mr. Cleaver? Mr. Brown? Mr. Wood? Ms. Bissett? Lieutenant Hyen? Actually, I want to give a Blast Barbecue and, National Night Out. Good job, by the way, on National Night Out. Thank you.
I'm sorry, did you want me to give an update?
Yes, please.
Okay, so National Night Out and what else?
Blast Barbecue.
Oh, Blast Barbecue. I'll start there. Barbecue, August 30th. It's going to be 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. We're looking at having vendors there, games set up, and I think we're looking at having hamburgers, hot dogs. So,
right there, right?
huh?
Right
Yeah,
here.
Chalmer Jones, just right next to the city hall. Looking to have another good barbecue this year. National Night Out, we had 29 registrants. So great. Chief Copeland shared with me the most that he had seen in his time as lieutenant was about 45 registrants.
Wow.
But keep in mind, I guess, that we had at Bob Newton, we had the new playground, and there was some folks that were coming together there. And
No,
then
it was
we
just
had,
Gubser, 227
Oh.
people.
So then the Elks, I guess, some neighborhoods associations coming together there. So there may have been some more registrants if they had not come together, but I basically chauffeured Chief Copeland around, and we had a good time stopping by. We stopped by 4 locations. I know city councilors and Madam Mayor were able to, as well as staff, were able to go around and stop by some of the locations and had a great time, and it was good to interact with community members.
Thank you very much. I just wanted to make sure you got a shout out on that. Counselor Kohler?
Verify the time, date, and hours for the Blast Camp Barbecue.
Time, date, okay, so it's gonna be August 30th, that's Saturday, and then it's gonna be 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. Yeah, right here at Chalmer Jones.
All
Party.
right. Be there or be square. Thank you.
Exactly.
Mr. Lawyer?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Just one thing real quick. The cement treating of the base of the streets in the Gubser neighborhood, River Rock, Amy Lane, Leprechaun Court, and Blarneystone Court was supposed to happen today. It was delayed until tomorrow.
Okay. I also want to give a big shout out to one of your employees, Lyle Bell, working with a homeowner who had some additional issues and had to schedule some work. And his very kind and responsive emails, I was copied on all of them. I would just want to give a shout out to him. Well done for customer service.
Thank you.
Thank you. Counselor Kohler?
Thank you. Just want to shout out to the Parks Department. I worked a little bit with Robert this last week on a project that we're going to do out at Kaiser Rapids Park. He was excellent, met me out there. We went over all kinds of things. More than willing to bend over backwards to make anything that we want to do happen. I just really appreciate what he's done there.
Thank you.
Thank you much. Mr. Witham?
Just the Blast Barbecue is coming up.
All right, thank you very much. Mr. Lindsay.
I'll be brief. I just wanted to say, in part of my evaluative process, you guys told me that I needed to go to certain trainings. One of them's coming up at the end of the week. It is the real estate and land use. It's in Bend, and so I'll be there, part of Thursday and Friday and part of Saturday, so.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very good. Councilor Duran.
I don't have anything, but I just thought of one question for Mr. Lawyer. When are they gonna be moving dirt into Kaiser Rapids Park?
They are going to, in earnest, be moving dirt after September 2nd. I just saw that today. We had a preliminary date of August 25th. They're gonna do erosion control measures on the 25th, but not move dirt until, in earnest, until after September 2nd.
Thank you. Councilor Christopher.
I just wanted to say, shout out to Patty Tischer. She's the president of the Greater Gubser Neighborhood Association. She's killing it. She's just doing a great job. She was so organized. She had a group of 4 or 5 individuals that helped her with that big event down at Bob Newton. And like I said, we counted 227. They kept coming, but we quit counting. So, she did a great job. Good job, Patty.
Awesome. Council President Starr.
I have nothing to report.
Thank you. Councilor Cross.
Nothing to report.
Councilor Kohler.
Just real quick, if you've got backpacks you want to donate to Southeast Kaiser Neighborhood Association, call Karina, number 503-710-26902. Leave a message and she'll either come pick them up or arrange for a place. The VCC would like to put on the agenda discussion of the procedure to be able to discuss that there. And that'll be enough for now.
Okay. Okay, very good. Councilor Parsons.
Nothing tonight.
Okay, all I've got to add on top of that is, been working with the Council of Governments, their legislative committee, getting ready for the transportation special session, with the legislature. I also got to join, several of you did with the I-Bill presentations to the students, through the Kroc Center. Wonderful time with those, great young professionals. Went to the Region 3 meeting in Almsville for the League of Oregon Cities. Thank you to Almsville for hosting that. And they had a great presentation on not just what is happening in the league, but also in the cities in our region. And they had some wonderful handouts that I'll be happy to share with you. I just got back from the Oregon Mayors Association, which was held in Baker City. And I was absolutely blown away by the changes that have happened in that town with the revitalization of their Main Street, the work of young entrepreneurs to open businesses, to work together to create a city vibe that is not what I remember from Baker City 15 to 20 years ago when we would pass through there on our way to visit relatives. So thank you to Baker City for working so hard to welcome all of us. If you ever get a chance to visit the Baker Historical Museum, it is world class, isn't it? They just opened their gold exhibit, just opened, and the executive director actually took us on a tour through it. They have a nugget, I kid you not, and I can tell you because, yeah, the security is really good. It's that big of gold, and the history that they have been able to put together their gem and mineral collection is world class. So big shout out to Baker City. Coming up, of course, is our EO Kaiser Exchange Program. The students arrive on the 21st. Police Day is on the 22nd. City Day is the 25th. Heritage Day, I believe, is the 22nd, the Friday. And then the reception on the 25th. And they've arranged for a meeting for us with the superintendent and to give them a tour of CTEC. The other one I want to add is Punks in the Park is on August 31st. And that is what I've got there. We've just gone through the schedule coming up. And we have the second work session in September. Make sure you've marked your calendar for that for September 22nd. We're all going to be here, right? No. We're going to be back on the 22nd? You're not.
Oh, wait.
September 22nd.
Yes, I'm good. Oh, sorry. So sorry. I'm here.
Double check, okay. Everybody check your calendars. Are you here?
I come back the 23rd, so.
Is Bahama Mama back?
Okay, so September 22nd isn't going to work if we're going to.
What is it for?
This is for the UGB, going over the materials, what we've learned from the town halls and from the surveys and so forth.
We should probably kick it.
We're gonna have, if we're gonna be missing two, we've got to reschedule.
Doodle poll it?
We're gonna have to doodle poll it, so I don't want to try to do it tonight because I know I'm out the next Monday. Because I think there's 5 Mondays and, that's a hard no for me on that 5th Monday. So, Ms. Bissett, would you doodle poll us, please, for rescheduling that? That's too important a conversation not have all together. Okay, you traveling folks, you. Okay, and with that, we did the agenda input. The time is 9:11, and we are adjourned.